some point this summer, the only thing I got to do is I gotta get in another hot dog derby. Somebody said that the agreement should be.
Yeah, you're 0 for
Someone
4,
said
man.
the agreement should be that if I get another hot dog derby, they said it was over on Twitch. They said they'll donate $150 to the charity of my choice if I win, but I have to put $50 in the show fund for each time I race in the hot dog derby after this if I lose. So if I continue to do it, I owe a debt.
I still think the Royals should ban you from hot dog derbies. You've had your 4 chances. Let somebody else in Kansas City have a moment. You know,
there's one every day. It's fine.
Yeah, there's plenty of people.
81 of them.
There's plenty of people that'll never have that chance to do it.
Yeah, I still need my chances until I win. I want to be in at least one hot dog derby a year until I win. So if you're listening,
you realize your odds get worse every year.
Oh, I know. That's why I got to get in them now.
Your odds are getting worse
if
every
I'm 50,
year.
I've got no chance unless you're just putting me in the geriatric race.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm gonna have to rig the thing. In order to do it.
That's exactly right. So we'll figure out if anybody has some more clarity on their stance yesterday from what was said in the 1 o'clock hour as we get through the show today. A little bit later on, Vern is going to join us, our Royals insider. He'll join us at 12:30. We'll talk plenty about what's going on with the Royals, including Noah Cameron making his MLB debut tonight. That's because Cole Reagan's unfortunately still dealing with that injury. But Noah Cameron, obviously, it's exciting. But sometimes somebody makes an MLB debut, especially a starting pitcher, because you want to find out maybe there's a possibility to show where the organization is development-wise with the pitching in the minor league level. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But the Royals get the first game of their series against the Rays last night. And I know it's way early for right now it's a joke if we're talking about DiMaggio and stuff, but Bobby Wood Jr. has a 20-game hitting streak. It's now the 8th Royals player he is to ever do that. I think we can leave, not for DiMaggio, but we can now start paying attention every single night on the hitting streak front. Like when it's 12, it's that's a really nice hitting streak. That's pretty impressive, but it's not. You're not really watching it every night. Like, oh my gosh, is he going to get another hit to get to 13 or 14? Now that you get to 20. Now it starts to at least get real of all right, let's keep an eye on this.
Because the Royals record is 31, as we had mentioned. That's held by Whit Merrifield, who broke it in 2019, I believe. He broke it from George Brett, pretty good Royals player overall to go in there. What stands out more about this hit streak, and Brett did it during his time, Whit's was on, I covered it. It was split between 2018 and 2019. He actually started the hitting streak in 2018. They were a miserably bad baseball team. It was the only thing to pay attention to in the early part of the season for the Royals during that time. So it felt like a weirdly, not no pressure because a 30-game hitting streak comes with pressure, but a lower pressure hitting streak because more than half of it occurred in the season before and you were just opening up the season. Because they have no offense, Witt's hit last night didn't feel ooh, Witt got a hit. It's damn, they need a Witt to get a hit so they could get an insurance run so they can win this baseball game. His hits feel important right now because of their lack of offense.
The way they're pitching him, too. We've heard Q talk about this quite a bit.
To avoid him.
Because of what you have right now in the order, but also just teams, like any team, when you have a player that had as dominant of a season as Bobby had last year in any sport, right? They're going to, in the offseason, they're gonna look even deeper into what can we do to try to prevent this guy from beating us. All the great players have to make that adjustment to the adjustment, right? And I think that's why it's even more impressive right now. I mean, teams are pitching Bobby Witt Jr. tougher than he's probably ever seen his entire big league career to this point.
Yes.
And yet he's got a 20-game hitting streak. So
I'm not telling you. They can fully pitch around him right now. Nobody else. Yeah. Vinny's hitting really cold right behind him.
Yeah.
So why would you I'd pitch extra careful to Bobby right now.
Yeah, right now it's tongue-in-cheek talking about 37 away from DiMaggio, breaking DiMaggio. But now I'm keeping an eye on it, especially for the Royals one. You can't even consider the next one until you get past the Royals one at 31. But yeah, how long can this thing go? Can we be sitting here in a couple weeks and this thing's at 33, something like that, and then it gets fun?
I think in order for that to be realistic, I know we just said he's got 20 without it. They really need some other people to pick it up on him, including Vinny. Song didn't work yesterday. Again, my standard has always been, hold on, wait.
Cody gets 2 weeks for it to work.
Or not work. I always told, well, not and by the way, 2 weeks doesn't mean he gets to have one good game in 2 weeks. It's a 2-game average aggregate of what they did before and what they did after.
We've gone over this before.
That's
last night, if you went a home run, you would have said it worked.
No, I wouldn't have. I would have said off to a good start.
Okay, all right.
Off to a good start. Right. 2 weeks is the standard. We'll see. Did not work last night. Yeah. He had several opportunities to get a run home and was unable to do so. They still won. But it's going to require Jonathan India and Bobby Witt Jr., and Vinny Pasquantino doing some stuff around him so that they can't just fully pitch around him. Because if that game was 2-1 the other way and they were in the lead, they might just walk Bobby last night. He might not even have a chance to get the single that he got in the 7th inning in order to extend his hit streak. They might just work around and get to Vinny, who's hitting, 170 or 175 right now. I will point out he's still leading the team in RBI, so he's still at least doing something of value for a team that is struggling offensively across the board. I think any sentence that starts with, should they be looking to take him out of the lineup is insane because they've got, 4 other guys who aren't hitting, and they don't have like a pathway of AAA players who are just lighting the world on fire either. But yeah, the offense, it just like every day feels like deja vu for them right now, except for in the early part of the season, they were losing the games, and now they're winning them. Their pitching is incredible. Michael Lorenzen's out there dealing now, too. It's not just the regular guys. Lorenzen's shoving for the squad. So, he went out there and gave him 6, 1-run innings last night?
Yeah, he was really good last night.
Just the one shot to center field was all that caught him?
That's your 5th starter. You're getting that from your 5th starter. And, look, I think this is where, having some vets in that rotation really help. When you have your ace, Cole Reagan's down right now due to an injury, who's stepping up? Yes, directly tonight, Noah Cameron has a chance to do that. But more realistically, you need your vet. You need Michael Lorenzen to put together some of his better outings while you're dealing with Cole Reagan's not being there, because now you have a guy making his MLB debut in your rotation that's not experienced. So, and you don't know what that's going to turn out to be. So, yeah, you needed that from Lorenzen. You couldn't afford for him to blow up last night and tax the bullpen.
You just take the loop.
Tonight, hopefully Noah Cameron pitches great, but you never know. It's a debut. He could go 3 innings. He could go 7. I don't know, right? We're going to find out. But in case he doesn't make it through 3 or 4, you might have to use the bullpen a bunch tonight. And the fact that Lorenzen did that for you, it really provides you some flexibility tonight against the Rays.
I think I think for a while, and this is where I make the argument, like yesterday we were talking about the Royals are a good team, and I stand by that, is the other part where we were talking about when they were beating up on a bad team in the Colorado Rockies, the worst team in baseball right now, based on record and every other conceivable thing. They're going to end up being the worst team in baseball this year. I just want to point out that while the Astros and the Rays, 2 teams they faced, were around 500, I'm not saying they were the New York Yankees or anything outside of that. The rest of the AL looks pretty mediocre outside of the Yankees, maybe the Tigers, depending on how you're looking at them. The Astros came into the Royals having won 5 of 6 games, and the Rays had won 5 games in a row. So they were taking on teams who were coming in hot against you, and you stopped them from continuing that. And I'm not the Rays series is not over, but they had won 5 games in a row, and you're like, nah, sorry, we're going to go and take this one, appreciate it, and then we'll get to the rest of the series, the day game tomorrow and the game tonight for Noah Cameron. So they are doing that. I am a little bit worried that Cole Reagan's missed a start, but the fact that they had no IL trip for him,
to this point,
Joel Goldberg was saying last night that he was hopeful he'd be able to make the start today for them, has me optimistic it's just one game and then everything's okay. The best possible sign is Noah Cameron goes out there and throws 7 shutout innings, and you're like, well, hello. Got some other. We kept talking about Kyle Wright and some guys who haven't even or Alec Marsh, who are not even back from or started rehab assignments in some cases. I think Kyle Wright has a rehab start tonight. If Noah Cameron's good, the pitching depth is at an all-time high.
Long term, it looks better if that actually were to happen. It also gives you flexibility with the potential innings limitation that might be.
Could be coming
for Chris Bubich.
Yeah, we hope not, but it could be there at some point, sure.
Yeah, so that'd be something to keep in mind. And just overall, we already mentioned it a week or two ago. If they were to have to make a move at some point closer to the trade deadline, even if you're in it, well, we've mentioned there's some guys, maybe Michael Lorenzen just pitched great last night. Even if you're not sellers, Michael Lorenzen could still be a candidate involved in a trade just because of where he's at. And in order to pull something off like that, you would need to have confidence that you have, of course, somebody that can step right in to the rotation that is. So Yeah, it still continues to be this work in progress with the offense. Right now, just keep buying yourself time while the offense
You're trying to win every game, 3-1, 3-2 right now. Yeah,
and eventually you hope that the offense gets going. It certainly beats the alternative of losing these games, obviously. So we'll talk some Royals baseball throughout the show. Today, we're going to talk about what we're seeing down in Double-A with Cags and compare it to how some of the other prospects in Royals history have performed in Double-A. What does it tell us? Is it just all about the numbers? Does it guarantee anything? We'll take a deeper dive in that a little bit later on this hour. Of course, our Cody and Gold road trip presented by The Art of Sports is this Saturday in Springfield. Over 200 listeners now have joined us and are going to be there in Springfield Saturday night.
We're meeting at Harbell's from 3:30 to 5 for those of you who pre-ordered the shirts. That's when we'll hand them out. Harbell's, 3:30 to 5. Tickets still available at 965thefan.com. They are just $10. Weather looks gorgeous, I'll say. It's not Mother's Day weekend. If you're just looking for a way to spend an afternoon down in Springfield, take the kids, take the family, just come down and hang out with us. We're staying the night. So, we'll have a drink with you or whatever, hang out, try to catch up with everyone at Harbell's before and at the game, of course, down there for the Springfield Cardinals. And then Alex and I are staying down there. Dusty as well from the morning show's coming down. And Drew will be there, and we're going to stay the night. So, we can find a place to hang out afterwards and all that stuff. Should be a great trip. The fact that 200 of you, I'm not kidding, we did this for Bobby Wood Jr., and look, timing was weird. It was right
after COVID.
Right after COVID, our show, just flat out honest with you, wasn't quite as popular then as it seems to be now based on listenership. So, we've gained a little bit of a trustworthiness from the audience, which we appreciate. All of that stuff. I think we maybe had, I was looking at a photo, I think maybe we had 50, 60 people down there to watch Bobby Witt Jr., and we're going to have 200 people down there to watch Cags. It's going to be an awesome time. So 965thefan.com if you'd like more information on that.
Yeah, thanks to The Art of Sports for jumping on this road trip with us as well. And we're working on some cool things with them. If you're looking for your collectibles, if you're looking for maybe a Caglione card, Bobby Witt, Patrick Mahomes, whatever it is, right? If you're a collector or looking to get into collecting, The Art of Sports, they're located there in Town Center. All right, let's talk some Chiefs football, though, a little bit. We mentioned what they have on the defensive line depth going forward. And I told you, I don't know if I fully agree that they're really, really deep on the defensive line. They're relying on 2 rookies now to be part of that depth. It's something that they needed to address in the draft, and they did. But it's anchored, obviously, by a future Hall of Famer in Chris Jones. And we were just going through some of the numbers for some of these guys a year ago. What's the expectation for Karlaftis? What's the expectation for Chris Jones? And the one thing that stood out to us, and I think it tells you that numbers can mislead, but also maybe are you worried that at some point the age thing can catch up? Chris Jones had 5 sacks last year. Yet throughout the year, the story was always that watch this guy play and the impact he's having for everybody else. And that's what I mean by a little misleading, although 5's a big drop. 5's a big drop.
Yeah, that's what stands out is I think sometimes we get so caught up in the Travis Kelce age part of it that we don't want to ask the question yet about Chris Jones. I would say age affects a player of that size and of that position more commonly earlier than it would for a player like tight end. Although wide receivers, they do fail early sometimes. Corners sometimes can age quickly in there. He's 30 years old. I don't know when he'll turn 31, but he's 30 years old as it sits right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, he was still first-team All-Pro last year. I think teams just flat out said, we're not letting you beat us. We're going to make – and this is where he needs complementary pieces next to him. This is where Charles Omenihu being on the team for a full year and on the field, hopefully, right, knock on wood.
Yeah.
That's I think can really help him. Yeah, the rookie, Norman Locke can play a piece, Gelati. But I think when you look at what he did in terms of disrupting defenses, or offensive lines, I should say, on defense, while I would like to see at least 7 or 8 sacks, I'm not worried yet on he's fallen off a cliff. He was an All-Pro last year.
Sure, but some of that's grandfathered a little, admittedly, because he was the All-Pro 2 years in a row. And I'm not claiming Chris Jones sucked. I definitely don't want that on record. But that is the lowest sack total he's had since he was a rookie and 22 years old. That is the lowest total he's had since he was a rookie. 6.5 being his other previous low. In the years up to that, the lowest he had in the last 7 years was 7.5. He's had 10.5 multiple times, 15.5 multiple times, or 10.5 once, 15.5 multiple times. It's a standout year from a sack total. And it's part of the reason their sack totals were so low as a team. So I've heard people say their pass rush, they got to dramatically improve it. It's been so bad. Can't work with just Chris Jones. It's last year they were 18th in sacks. The previous 2 years, they were second and second. And the reason why is Chris Jones was getting 5 to 10, depending on the year, more sacks than he got last year. If Chris Jones had 10 more sacks last year, the Chiefs are not 18th in sacks. They are like 7th. And they are perfectly acceptable. They need Chris Jones to have that number back. I'm just asking,
8 to 10,
is age
honestly
some sort of factor? I'd say if it's a 2-year trend, then I care. If it's he only has 6.5 this year, and they drafted 2 more defensive linemen, and they don't offer more help. But if he just like stalls out in the sack department, I am going to start thinking it's age. I don't think that way now, but you'd have to admit that a 2-year trend would point to that.
Back-to-back 5 sack seasons. I would also say that means they got bigger problems on the defensive line in general. Like eventually,
nobody's helping.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you watch Chris Jones play, we brought it up during the season. There were plenty of times where look how disruptive he is, and yet he's not getting the sacks, and what that led to a season for Karlaftis, and hopefully what it can lead to for Charles Menahue. So it's hard for me to sit here and think like he's already fallen off that cliff. I disagree with that. But yeah, the sack numbers, you would like that at minimum to be the 8 to 10 range at this point in time. He'll be 31 by the end of the season, or is he already 31?
I just know. Well, I don't know. Pro Football Talk said
he turns 31 in July, so he'll be 31 throughout the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, look at a player and. Players at defensive tackle can certainly be viable, really good defensive players.
What likelihood would you give that he just jumps back to not automatically? Let's say we wake up and it's January and he's got 10.5 sacks. I think that is still a 50-50 proposition.
That was almost the exact number I gave. I was like, I was trying to think about it because there's a good chance that it's not age. So, like, there is a chance that it's not that and then it goes in there. But, like, he's the single biggest, like, if you're saying, how do they fix the pass rush from last year? Chris Jones is the single biggest swing player that impacts that. He just is. Like, one way or the other, he's going to be the person who determines whether or not they're 18th in sacks this year or whether or not because, or if they move up to 9th. They did lose, and I'll point this out because this is how bad they were in sacks last year. They actually lost the guy who was second in team in sacks last year, and that was Turk Wharton. And, like, that... Again, not a good number, not nearly high enough for him, but Turk Wharton was technically higher than Chris Jones in sacks last year. And that part of it is like, yeah, he's probably just opening things up for Turk Wharton and making his life easier. I watch Chris Jones play. I still see the impact he has on the game. I'm not saying that. But if he's, this works, 100% Chris Jones impacts the impacts the game in every play. Yeah. 90% Aaron Donald by the time it was towards the end. He wasn't the same Aaron Donald. Chris Jones had surpassed him by the time that their careers had ended. What I'm trying to avoid is that. You
guys saw right before we hopped on the air today the news that the NFL fined the Falcons.
I did see that. They fined the Falcons $250,000.
Falcons were fined $250,000. Defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich $100,000 for that Shedeur Sanders prank call. Remember, he had the iPad out and his son saw the number and did the prank call. Just think for a second, the same scenario. If Cody, you have kids, if your son in this hypothetical cost you personally $100,000 and the company you work for $250,000, what the hell's the punishment? Also, by the way, let's be real, you're getting fired from your normal company.
Well, yeah, this job, sure.
But let's just same scenario.
Let's just say the cash equivalent.
What's the punishment for your son who's 21 in this hypothetical, and then your company there's no way your company normally is keeping you employed. Jeff Ulbrich better hope his defense is top 5 in football this year. His ass is getting fired after this year.
Look, 21-year-olds are hard to ground.
Yeah.
Right? This is just going to go down as the single biggest life lesson we have as a group.
Most expensive prank call in world history.
And I'm not saying the kid has to pay me back $100,000, but he is in debt. He will owe me debt. Like, we are in service, like mowing the grass, like you are in it for a while. Anything I need painted, moved, mowed, you're on the hook for a long time, kid. A long time. I was a little surprised to see Adam Schefter. I saw he was really saying, like, this is really the NFL's fault. They should have better security measures. This feels like a personal responsibility thing for me. If you, in your iPad for your job, contain lots of confidential information, you better be damn sure who you're leaving it around. Like, I think this is a personal responsibility thing more for me than it is the other way around. Like, I don't feel like this is the NFL's fault for not securing Shedeur Sanders and other prospects' numbers.
They might want to revisit. Like you
gotta just maybe keep an eye on your stuff.
The NFL might want to revisit how they go about it. Right, they send every player a phone right with these numbers. They might want to figure out what process they're using. There's probably some truth to that, but ultimately, no. This lies on both the kid, most importantly, right, that did the prank call. And then, of course, the dad, who was the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. Because, look, I understand the Falcons owner is very, 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 very wealthy. Still, he didn't like getting fined $250,000 for literally something he had no business, like not even had nothing to do with. Yeah, he got fined $250,000. You cost your employer $250,000. Is there any other job in the world that you can cost your employer $250,000?
I think that actually happened in this building once. So, like, I don't want to say for sure, but like there was a number attached to that for an FCC fine in this building once, and that person got to keep their job.
Fair enough. Okay.
So, like, it's rare though.
There's no,
and it's got to be. You better be the best damn person at your job. I'll say you better be You better. His job on defensive coordinator. He better be like top 5 points per game, because if you're like 12th this year, that ain't cutting it, Jeff. Bad news for you. You can't be 12th in points per game on defense this year and just feel like you get to keep the work.
I can just promise you.
How much does he make? What percentage of his salary is that? He probably makes $1.5 million.
1.6 last year as a DC in New York. I don't know what he's making for the Falcons, but let's just say it's very similar.
So I mean, he cost him. I mean, imagine the check. Like we're no more Uber Eats either. Kid, whatever lifestyle things we were enjoying. That gravy train's up. The $100,000 I got to pay per check, and I imagine in this case they just like dock your check. They don't ask you to just pony it up.
How much did you say?
100,000. He made 1.6 million.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a good chunk of his. Now it's pre-tax.
Text line dropped a pallet of 64 cases of wine off a truck once on accident. Oh. Most money I've cost the company, maybe that 3,000 to 5,000. See, that's not good. But that's chump change compared to what we're talking about here.
Oh yeah, because like I've broken things that I ripped an entire sink out of a wall once at a job on accident. I've broken cases of alcohol. Like I've done I've cost the company money before at places I've worked. Not would be the equivalent of some massive hit to their operating income.
Do we know? It's a fair question. Do we know the other players that got prank called as well, right? It wasn't just Shedeur Sanders.
Tyler
Warren. Okay, they got called. Do we not know who? Is that why there's not been punishment with that? Because they're only focusing on Shedeur Sanders, and only Ulbrich is getting fined. Is that just because they fessed up?
It off to his buddy.
They fessed up, or is there somebody else that leaked it, or is it the assumption that he leaked all the numbers?
Right now, I haven't heard anything. I guess my assumption is that he was the leak.
Yeah,
like for any of the crank calls, like maybe he did more than one, and maybe the leak started with him.
Someone texted and said they own a company. If anyone cost me $250,000, I would fire everyone. Yeah, understandably so. Understandably so. That's what I'm saying. Very few jobs, very few, can you cost your company $250,000 and just keep your job?
No. I'm assuming if right now today I cost this company, I don't know how, like I just busted out all this glass and started lighting stuff on fire. I don't know what I'd have to do to cost the company $250,000 today.
Well, that would be criminal action as well. That'd be property. Like that'd be like
other than an FCC fine. Like if I just started saying the 7 dirty words from George Carlin and I cost the company $250K, I imagine I'm out.
Yeah, I don't think any of us in this room right now costing Odyssey $250,000 is going to be employed tomorrow. Spoiler. So that's what I'm saying. It's just a wild story. Wild story. Someone says, I was an armored truck driver, lost a bag with over $50K in it. Luckily, it was found and returned. Someone returned it with all 50? Good for them. Good for them. That didn't happen. That didn't happen in Chicago. We told you about that story.
I mean, there's all kinds of stories over here. I had a coworker at an insurance company a few years ago step on a Da Vinci roof. I don't even know what that is. Broke a tile, had to replace the entire roof. It was $85,000.
Jeez.
Oh.
Someone says, you guys don't have a comment on the fine coming down from the NFL to the Falcons? That's literally what we've been talking about for 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly what
That's exactly.
Oh, you know what? And I talked about all that stuff. Remember, I crashed a company car once. So I definitely cost $10,000.
And you kept your job at that time? Or no?
I did. It wasn't $250, but I probably... Okay, so including the damage to the truck and the property damage I did, I'm going to guess... God, they never told me the number. I could ask, I guess. I'm going to guess I caused $15,000 for the damage. I'm going to guess I kept my job.
But that was directly covered by insurance, right?
Yeah.
So that probably saved
you. Oh, yeah, you know what? In fairness, not $15,000 out of the bottom. Yeah,
there's insurance.
Not out of their own
The Falcons don't. The Falcons, again, their owner is going to be just fine.
I
but
probably
the Falcons
cost them $1,000. You're right.
Yeah.
Like a deductible or something.
Someone says, where does the money go? Anytime they find players and stuff like that, it goes to, they have a charity fund, basically, right? Like a giant pool of money for charity and causes. It's not like Roger Goodell is pocketing $250,000 for those saying it's a money grab that goes to charity. If it is a money grab, it's at least a money grab for charity.
Yeah.
All right.
The best kind of money grab.
All right. Up next, though, we keep talking about development for a certain player. Is there such thing as a developmental year for this type of player? We'll explain who that is next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Men, here's the truth. In the bedroom, good enough isn't really good enough, is it? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if your erectile dysfunction is making intimacy less enjoyable for you and your partner, give us a call today. Because whether your ED only happens sometimes or all the time, it's time to stop good enough and time to start really good. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. Whether it's only mild or moderate, or even if it's severe, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we have a variety of treatments and can even combine protocols, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in a long time. You could even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again for you and your partner. So make an appointment and be done with good enough. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you.
DQ presents How to Hit Summer's Sweet Spot. The new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat menu is here. And as the official treat of MLB, we're swinging big with our fan favorite S'mores Blizzard Treat. Plus, new mixing bowl mashup with brownie batter and chocolate chip cookie dough. And even more in our Stack Summer lineup. Hurry in today because nothing says summer like baseball and our new Summer Blizzard Treat menu. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
When I started watching my favorite team as almost Andy Reid, I couldn't get out of the parking lot due to my new popularity. Renner Garage Door has an offer that's just as popular. $100 maintenance check to keep your door running smooth. Get a free replacement quote. Renner carries top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Family owned since 1956. Call or visit rennerdoor.com. Renner forward and back.
R-E-N-N-E-R. I'm sure everyone says this, but my mom really deserves the world. This year, I finally found a Mother's Day gift that comes close. She loves Hellsberg, so I'm getting her these timeless gold earrings she can enjoy for years to come. They feel special enough to show how much I truly appreciate everything she does for me. And I mean everything. I even sent my dad a link to the Diamond Eternity band he'll be getting her, too.
Save up to 50% on Mother's Day gifts Mom will cherish forever. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you.
It is one of my favorite times of the year, and you don't want to miss it with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props, and you can make an heads-up play with player performance trends. So that means if you want to bet on a player to score 30 or put on a triple-double, you don't even need to leave the app to find out who's hot. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win even big. The NBA playoffs are the perfect time to join, and you can get started with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So use my promo code KFNZ, go on FanDuel and get started for the NBA playoffs and make every moment more this spring on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued with nominal drawable bonus bet which expires 7 days after restricted restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
Or you could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
All power, zero compromise. Ego cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From blowers and trimmers to mowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it is the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
DQ presents How to Hit Summer's Sweet Spot. The new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat menu is here. And as the official treat of MLB, we're swinging big with our fan favorite S'mores Blizzard Treat. Plus, new mixing bowl mashup with brownie batter and chocolate chip cookie dough. And even more in our Stack Summer lineup. Hurry in today because nothing says summer like baseball and our new Summer Blizzard Treat menu. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Here is your Game of the Week, presented by Hyundai. Two of the best in baseball will face off this weekend in a 3-game series. Los Angeles will head to the East Coast to play a resurgent Atlanta team who started off the season sluggish. Some of the brightest stars and biggest names in baseball will be front and center as two of the titans of baseball clash in another early season test. Who will come away with a win this time? Don't let the urge to sing along to that catchy tune distract you from that truck drifting toward your lane or that lane-splitting biker creeping up beside you. Fortunately, every Hyundai offers available class-exclusive advanced safety features that can alert you to potential dangers around you, and Hyundai has over 130 IIHS top safety awards since 2006. Because Hyundai is always working to ensure the road doesn't get you, IIHS top safety awards include Top Safety Pick and Top Safety Pick Plus awards to Hyundai vehicles from 2006 to 2025.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Clog drain? Our experts clear tough clogs fast and include a free camera inspection, so you have confidence that your pipes are flowing freely. Unclog your drain for just $74. Schedule today at anthonyphce.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting started here on a Wednesday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you here in 25 minutes. I got some news for you guys. I got some pretty big news for you guys.
Yeah. I think the listeners will be interested to know how your weekend went.
Yeah, it was...
No, he's not. They're going to guess you got engaged or something. You better,
let me
cool right now.
Yeah,
someone immediately was going to get shotgun wedding.
No.
It is not shotgun wedding related, but it is news.
Yeah, no, I can 1,000% promise you.
It's going to be something to show us to follow for a while.
Yeah, all I will say, yes, I did not get engaged. It is not to that level. It's something that I think is pretty wild, and we'll just leave it at that.
A moment you won't forget.
Yeah, for sure. Place. And for sure. We'll get into more detail coming up in 25 minutes or so. You're right, though. I'm glad you went ahead and jumped in.
I immediately could see the text on being like, Mazel Tov, and just like, Alex got hitched.
Nope.
You don't seem like the shotgun wedding type.
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. That was definitely not what we're going to talk about.
You don't seem like the would get married under
in Vegas,
18 to 24 months.
I mean, I don't think so.
I think that would be like the minimum.
I don't know.
Minimum time is my guess.
Yeah. So anyway, you can keep guessing. Go ahead.
From the ambulance, you cooked a full meal and then ate the leftovers.
Yeah, you can keep guessing.
From the ambulance, you called the Vegas tour guide back.
That's funny.
She's moving to KC. Big
913. We might. By the way, we found it. We might be going to Vegas again coming up in August, but we'll see how that goes.
What you post on social.
Yeah, no kidding. 913-586-7965. You can keep guessing, but we'll get to that in 25 minutes. In the meantime, let's talk about the Chiefs' first-round draft pick, Josh Simmons, some more. Because you were saying something, we were talking off air about this and how we view this upcoming season for Josh Simmons.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people discuss this as like kind of goes back to the conversation of, can he sit an entire year, right? Can he sit an entire year? Can he develop an entire year? And the more I was thinking, I was like, can you even develop a left tackle? Like, do people do that? Like, I'm not kidding around. There are a lot of positions that I think you can slow walk into the NFL. Running back, Wide receiver, defensive lineman, I'd say it's incredibly common with. Hell, even in second and third corners a lot of times, in safeties, they kind of work their way up the depth chart until they become full-time starters. We talk about it with Chanel and Connor and Cook and Tyreek Hill and a million other wide receivers out there. Tackle is like the one position on the field where I do not think we talk draft and development. Offensive line, center, guard, tackle. If you are good, you play immediately. So the more I was thinking about it is talking about a development year good for Josh Simmons? If he's healthy and can play, shouldn't he just be playing? Can he develop on a bench? I'm not even sure that's a thing at left tackle. I'm not saying 0%, like there's no examples, but we have to admit that happens way less.
I don't view it as a developmental year if he doesn't play, only because we know the narrative around this whole thing, it's not even a narrative, it's just the reality, is about the health and the injury in the patellar tendon and the Chiefs banking on their medical staff and the trust in them, et cetera. I don't view, if Josh Simmons, let's say, ends up on the PUP list or ends up not participating much in the offseason. I know that, by the way, I know the Chiefs are saying he's going to, but I am still very skeptical. That's all. If it happens to be that it's just Jalen Moore at left tackle, it's Jawan Taylor at right tackle, I don't think it will be a developmental year in the way we would normally talk about a developmental year, right? Like a quarterback sitting all year, that's a developmental year. I don't think a left tackle is having a developmental year in this case because this would be because he wouldn't fully be recovered. Yeah. I know they're claiming they think he's on track to be that. I think it would be very clear if he does not start week 1, it would be because of the injury, not because of overall performance. The injury would cause him not to be ready.
So I agree with you if the injury becomes the obvious reason why he's not. But let's just say he starts a camp. He's there the entire time. He practices and he doesn't start. Well, then they are calling it a development year. And then my fear with I would, in a weird way, I would actually prefer he just hurt. I'd feel worse. I'd feel worse about it if he didn't just win the job right away, even though he was healthy all of camp.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the talent. I'm not worried about the talent.
I'm more worried about it if it's a development year and they don't want him to start right away because that feels like, because then what I feel like we're walking into is we're walking into this massive unknown in 2026. Look, Kingsley got benched and they even started him. Kingsley couldn't make it through the first month of the season and they let him start. And I understand there's more competition between Jawan Taylor and his massive contract and Moore, who they gave a pretty good amount of money to as well, but not Jawan Taylor money, certainly. So I understand there's more competition than there was for Kingsley out on the onset. But if he's healthy, then doesn't start, they are calling a development year. And if it's that, then I just haven't seen that very often at left tackle. Not zero, not ever. But offensive line is like running back. It's like the one position that you just say, you're the starter now. Like, congratulations, we drafted you, and now you start.
If you're a first-round pick, I agree. I would totally disagree that offensive linemen aren't picked in the third round and actually absolutely are viewed as developmental guys all the time.
Pick,
I think it's the first-round pick thing. Because there's plenty of examples of guys that are, especially guards, not tackles, but that are taken to the third round, and in this case, we're talking about the Chiefs, Andy Heck and Andy Reid. They develop them, and 2 years later, you end up actually having a Nick Allegretti that ends up now being a starting player somewhere else in the league.
I think it's normally at guard or center, and it's usually in a lower, not pick 31 overall. You know, like you don't usually develop a left tackle; they just start. Like left tackle specifically, I think you're probably right in some of the other. And Jalen Moore is kind of a developmental left tackle in a way because he was stuck behind Trent Williams.
Did you see that? So Jalen Moore was backing up Trent Williams all these years. That's one reason maybe why he didn't play. We're going to find out if it was just because he had a Hall of Famer in front of him or because he's not good enough to be a starting left tackle. We'll get the answer this year probably. But the 49ers yesterday signed DJ Humphries.
Oh, I did see that.
Of course, DJ Humphries was brought in midseason, and he was viewed as the savior. He played in 3/4 of a game and got hurt, and we never saw him again.
Nope. I would have been interested. Now they've got protection.
Before
because
we talked about
their protection now is Josh Simmons, obviously. Yeah. Before that, I'd have been like, just any vet who can just technically play tackle so we don't have to get stuck back on guard. And you only had the option at guard because Joe Tooney exists. The option at left guard now would likely be moving Kingsley Suamataia back out there, which is not exactly what we're looking to do. It just depends largely on the injury. But if he is healthy, he practices all the training camp, and then they call this a developmental year, I'm going to be further down on it. I'm going to be less optimistic about how they walk into 2026 because they're telling you he's not just ready injury-wise, he's not ready play-wise, which is a more concerning thing.
we know we're going to see Cags on Saturday. We've talked a lot about that. Over 200 of you were signed up. Cannot wait to see you guys in Springfield. It's going to be a great time. We're really, really excited to meet you guys at Harbell's as well. For those of you that pre-ordered the T-shirts that we'll be wearing behind the third base dugout and everything. But we wanted to dive deeper into what we're seeing from Cags because we've talked a ton about the numbers and specifically where he's at on home runs versus strikeouts and obviously just overall on base percentage and everything. And they were off yesterday. They were a rain out, I guess. I think it was in Springfield. So Cags did not play yesterday.
Got a double dip today, I think? Or no, it's Friday. They got a doubleheader.
Okay, is it Friday?
Yeah.
So the numbers that we look at for guys in AA and the automatic assumption like, well, if he's doing this in AA, this equates to blank in the big leagues. Now, I'll admit, these other names we're about to bring up, we're not number one prospects in the organization, though.
One was.
So we'll get to the name. One name was. Some of these other guys weren't. So Cags is already, he's a college player. Last year was a top pick. He's the number one prospect in your organization. He's a top 50 prospect, I believe, right, in baseball. Yeah. So he's a little bit different anyway. But go through, I know you compiled some of these numbers of some guys that have made it to the big leagues in their career already, and we all know how some of these guys have performed in the big leagues, and this is how effective they were also in AA. The argument that they could just go straight from AA to the big leagues, or Cags could right now, this is why you wonder, why does it take some time?
All of these guys had way more games than Cags currently has in AA, and I'll give you his stats as well. I was going over these numbers with David Lesky, because we were going back and forth just talking about baseball and whether or not the Royals and what they're doing with Cags makes sense. Yeah. Here's Cags' numbers right out of the gate. He's 22 years old. He's hitting .282 with a .360 on-base percentage. He walks 11% of the time. He strikes out 24% of the time, and he swings and misses 31% of the time. Numbers that are, like, acceptable to go in there. He's the number one prospect in the Royal system. He's a top 50 prospect in all of baseball. I will say, every single person on this list was, at one time, a top 100 prospect in Major League Baseball.
Okay.
So, if you're just figuring out how they got here, how they got to the majors, what this looked like, all 5 of the names I'm about to give you were top 100 prospects in MLB Pipeline's rankings at some point in their career. Next player, 285, very similar. 372, slightly better than Cags. Walked a little bit more, struck out less, and swung and missed less by about 5% less. That guy was MJ Melendez, the guy they just sent down to AAA. Next player, 22 years old. He hit 272, so about 10 points worse. Got on base at 404, better than Cags. Walked 5% more than Cags, struck out 5% more. So he walked more, but he struck out more of a true 3 outcome. Swung and missed a lot more. Top 100 prospect, 22 years old, played about 60 more games in AA than they're at Cags right now. That guy, Nick Prado. Next up, I got 2 more, and then we're going to talk about what this means. 23 years old, hit 310, quite a bit better. That's 20 points better. 405 on base, walked 2% more, struck out 13% less than Caglione, and then also whipped 15% less than Caglione. Those stand out, right? You're like, okay, I've given you 2 busts so far. Not busts, but like MJ was a 3-year big leaguer, is now back down in the minors. Prado has not worked out in the big league level at all. Vinny Pasquantino was the 3rd guy. A guy who's struggling right now at the bigs, but has overall been a nice big league player. So far I've given you was a big leaguer, isn't currently. Never really established themselves as a big leaguer, mostly a bust. Vinny, a solid big league player. I know someone's going to say not because of the first 30 games of the season. I'll say that's a smaller sample size than the rest of it, whatever. Next, 21 years old, 295, 369, 570. So a little bit higher in on base and slugging, but not way higher. Walked 2% less, struck out the exact same percentage, 24%, and swung and missed about the same number as Cags. That guy was Bobby Witt Jr. So I'm not here to what I'm telling you is that it's an unknown. I know that it's like a lot of numbers to be like, what does that mean? I'm telling you, here's 5 guys who are highly thought of prospects in the Royal system, including Caglione, who's the number 1. I have a bust, a guy who barely played in the big leagues. Nick Prado's a bust. MJ, who had a mediocre big league career so far, it is now currently sent back down to the minors. Vinny, who's an everyday big league player. Bobby, who's a superstar. The numbers he's putting up in AA promise you nothing, and that's why they want to take their time. It is some of these like periphery numbers where they're kind of stuck gold trying to figure out, what does this mean? He's still striking out a lot and swinging and missing a lot, which are the 2 biggest concerns the organization has.
Yeah, for me, it's not about this shows that there's a chance that, he's not going to be successful in the big leagues. I think we all recognize there's always risk involved with any prospect. That's not what it's for me. For me, these numbers are relevant for the conversation that, well, he's doing this in AA. He could come up to the big leagues right this second, and he could just dominate. That's why I like the numbers that you threw out there. I don't think the comparison is so much as, hey, these guys did this in AA, and then look, some of them didn't succeed in the big leagues, and he's going to be the same way. I don't think that's the point of the exercise.
No, some of these guys, one guy's a superstar.
Yeah, that's not the point of the exercise. It's more that, hey, AA numbers, these guys also dominated in AA. Why are they being patient? Work on some more important things that aren't just numbers based, right? Underlying things. And what the pitching matchups are and why there's not as much of a rush. That's all it is for me. It's just more of the pushback on the, hey, he's hitting 282 in AA and the big league club is struggling at offense. He should just come up right this second and dominate. That's all I think. That's why I like the numbers, not because I think it means that he's a 50-50 shot at panning out. He's a number one prospect in the organization. He's a top 50 prospect in baseball.
Like you said, other than Bobby, none of these guys were the number one prospects.
Yeah.
Prado was probably a top 5 prospect at his peak. MJ was probably a top 10 prospect at his peak. I can't go through weeklies on this thing. I'll just tell you both those guys when they were all top 100 guys. Like every single one of them were top 100 guys. And look, some of it I liked is because they play similar positions. Yeah. Like MJ was like a power hitting now corner outfielder. Prado played first. Vinny played first. Cag plays first. Like I'm trying to give you some guys that go in here. The numbers do not say bust or boom. The numbers tell you they want more time because what he's doing in AA gives them no assurances. It gives them no promises that he's just going to come up and be a great big leaguer. And so they'd rather try to work through some of what they view are the slight problems in his game now before they throw him at the big league level. It's also easier. I'll just tell you, if this were if this were 2005, if this were 2017, Cags would be playing in the big leagues right now.
Okay, the team is 500 right now. They're coming off a playoff appearance.
Yes. If this team stunk, if they were the Colorado Rockies, if they were the Miami Marlins, I actually think you'd be justified in saying, get Jack Caglione up now, get him in the big leagues, and let's find out if this guy can play. They're not trying to rush him in this case. Great news is for you. You can just go down and watch him in Springfield on Saturday. You want Caglione play? 965thefan.com. This topic was not built around convincing you guys to go to Springfield. It was mostly just pointing out kind of where they are because I get the temptation. They are bottom? They're dead last in the league in home runs. They have no power in the corner outfield. I get it. I think it was MLB Network. Here, I'll play this audio clip. This is MLB Network talking about it, not the organization. Because this is probably how most fans think.
The Royals trying to find their way in the Central. I have the numbers right here, John. 13 home runs, ranks last among all teams. Enter Jack Caglione. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. You see that guy, you think, we need him now.
Right, and he's playing the outfield now, so there could be room as an outfielder for him. But, I've been in touch with the Royals, and they are saying they're going to take it slow with Caglione. They still see a couple things they'd like to improve a little bit. This is a guy with immense talent, was a great pitcher and hitter at Florida as a Gator. Incredible. Was picked in the top 6 or 7 in the draft last year. I'm sure their fans are calling for him. He's got an 850 OPS, solid at AA, Northwest Arkansas. Even had 2 hits off of Kershaw, a guy we mentioned earlier.
That's how we all feel, right?
So he looks good, but they still want to see a little bit more. They probably want to see how he does in the outfield because, as I said, he was a first baseman and a pitcher only at Florida. But
so, when you listen to that, it's like...
Yeah, it's all the same stuff I think we've recognized.
I get it. You watch the outfield and you're like, I'd like someone to slug some homers.
And he's played, 4 games in right field? So we're still not even 10 games
He's going to play
yet.
a couple...
He's playing twice a week, essentially, in right field. So, and last week was the first week of it. So he's played, 3 or 4 games in right field right now. These were all things that I don't know, I feel like Vern's talked about, we've talked about that have to happen first before he gets called up to certainly the majors, but sounds like even to AAA.
He'll go to AAA next.
Yep.
That's. I mean, they're going to do the logical progression. I was kind of hoping we'd get the local kid, but I think Kudrna pitches tonight in AA, so I don't know who's pitching on Saturday yet. I haven't looked.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was kind of hoping we get the local, like Noah Cameron pitching starting today. He's from St. Joe. I like rooting for the local kids to have some success.
Yeah, I have not memorized the minor league pitching stats rotation. I
That's
haven't.
Weird.
I haven't actually.
I don't think at any point in my life I had that memorized. Even when I just covered this team for an entire year, I don't think I had the minor. And I was paying attention to the minors. They won 56 games. I was happy to look at the minor leagues during that stretch of time.
Yeah, Drew told us before he goes tonight, Drew wants to take a college campus tour. He's saying about going to college.
Yeah, are you seriously going to go? How are you even? I don't even know how to book that. You just call the bookstore, or what's up?
No, or you just want to drive by Missouri State?
I'm not going on a tour. I'm going to the stadium. I'm looking at I'm going to see the football stadium, and then if I
see
have
it
time,
from the outside or go in.
Can
you go in?
I'm going to see if it's open.
If the gate's unlocked,
I mean,
just going to jiggle a handle.
No,
just jump a fence.
It depends on the college, but there's college football stadiums that are wide open for people that like for instance, you might think, why would Missouri State be open, or Missouri State would be open because others wouldn't. The Florida Gators football stadium is open year round. You can walk in there and do steps if you want to. You can go and walk around Ben Griffin Stadium. So who's to say you can't do it at Missouri State? I don't know. I'm going to go see.
Does anybody know? Text line 913-586-7965. Or do you work for the university and we'll show Drew around?
I'll probably go to the bookstore as well to see what they got in there, and I might walk around campus if I got time before we get into what we're doing.
It's funny because you love college, so it makes sense. You love college sports, college basketball, college football, all stuff. I've never once thought, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go check out a college. You and I are going to be in.
I mean, if I was near the big house in Michigan, I would do it. That's no offense to some of these smaller
I wouldn't even
schools.
do that.
If I was near,
if I happen to be in East Lansing, what else am I looking at? But
Ann Arbor, yeah.
Ann Arbor,
I think
Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in Columbus, Ohio, I might want to go check out Ohio State. I think there's big universities. Like when I was in Nashville, not the last trip, but the first time when I had some extra time in Nashville, I went by Vanderbilt's campus because schools like that, I'll go check out the campus. I think, but I'm not going to go to a much smaller school or go out of my way.
I've never really done that. I guess maybe
when I was in I was near Berkeley. I went on Cal's campus before. I've been Cal Berkeley.
So you did walk out. Yeah. Okay, so you do a little bit of what Drew's talking about. Yeah. You're a snob about it. No Missouri State for you.
Yep. Sorry.
They're D1.
They're moving up to FBS football.
Yeah, they're up to FBS football. Yeah,
for the
first time. They've been D1.
Someone says they're a Missouri State alum. Easy to get on the football field.
Nice.
So they got a new turf.
Someone says walked right into Cameron Indoor, jiggled the handle. Went right into Cameron Indoor, dude. You're telling me if you were near Duke's campus.
Walk into Allen?
No.
The doors are locked unless they're playing a game or something.
Someone says Drew trying to walk on now. Yeah, that's a new thing. I could walk on and play football. At quarterback at Missouri State. Drew's going to say that by 1 o'clock. Drew's going to say that today.
Although my eligibility has not been used, there's no chance.
It isn't?
One I'm in. Well, I mean,
because now,
Cody, you could go and walk on UMKC's basketball team if you want. If you wanted to try, if they have open tryouts, you could go and try out for the basketball team.
Man, you imagine how embarrassing it would be for me. I mean,
now we got conflicting stories. Missouri State alum, they do not allow free access to the football.
I would assume that they don't. Someone's at TCU's open. I think it just depends. With this being a Midwest campus, not that means anything, but with Florida,
what are you trying to say?
With Florida or Texas, it's warm year round. It's one of I don't know if KU's football stadium before. I don't know if David Booth Stadium was open year round.
I don't know if looks great.
I don't know if Thoreau Field is open, where I can just go to Columbia and just walk not on the field.
We're going to send Drew. We're going to send Drew on a college stadium tour, and he's just going to try to break into random college venues.
Okay, there's a.
We'll get it sponsored by a bail bonds company. It'll be perfect.
From the times he gets
perfect.
There is a line, and I'm not going to get picked up. That's the line I won't cross. But I'll definitely see if I'll be able to get in.
Somebody says from the 903, you guys are showing your age. Multiple TikTok accounts. Would they do this kind of thing? Maybe it's just I get on TikTok sometimes. It's just my algorithm's different. I get a lot of food stuff. I just get my algorithm's just different.
He recently did it at the NFL draft. He tried to. Let me see how late I can stay in the state. Like he goes to games there, but then he tries to stay in the stadium all the time. Most of the videos are like that. Like he tries to stay as long as he possibly can before security stops him, or something like that. And even if security is like, "Hey, you need to get out of here,"
so you're getting to Springfield earlier than us. And you're going to try to get on the football field.
All right. Yeah, I'll go.
He didn't say he was going to break any laws. Just said.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to look. If the gates are closed, I'm not even going to try to jiggle a handle. if the gates are closed and the door is locked, if the gates are closed and there's a lock on it, I'm not even going to try to open. And
If you know how to pick a lock, Drew's offering to drive with you to Springfield.
I will. No.
If you have a kit that happens to,
Locksmiths. We'll sponsor the college year with locksmiths and bail bondsmen. Perfect.
The art of sports and whatever, Chico's bail bonds.
The 249 miles of stadium tour. Yes, of college football stadium tour. I love it.
Don't forget, though, our Cody and Gold road trip is going to be presented by the Art of Sports right there in Town Center Plaza, open 7 days a week. They're a direct MVP account for Topps and direct account for Panini as well. They buy, sell, trade, collectibles, sports cards, whatever you're looking for. That is the place to go in Kansas City. Up next, though, I got some news for both of you. Pretty wild stuff. The audience is guessing what it is. We'll explain. We also will have some video proof of it and audio next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Cole Reagans, and you're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the college is paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey Bank and Cross First Bank. Together, we'll help ensure your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Together, we're building extraordinary impact in business, wealth, and community. Busey Bank and Cross First Bank. Member FDIC.
March 2012. That's when we started Connolly Plumbing Solutions. It has been a wild ride. If you have had us take care of plumbing issues for you, we thank you. If you haven't, next time you need a plumber, we would love the opportunity to win you over. Locally owned and family operated, serving the entire Kansas City metro area. Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. Call 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
For over 8 years, QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain, with over 50,000 satisfied patients. People with knee and back pain now living pain-free. Shoulder and hip pain gone. What they're doing is nothing short of remarkable. They're using regenerative cell therapy to restore the tissue in their achy joints. They're using biologic growth factors with robust healing properties, carefully and strategically placed in your joint. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life. The best part, with QC Kinetics, there are no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. It's an all-natural cellular level option with lasting relief. Imagine doing all the things you enjoy this summer without being slowed down by that awful joint pain in your knees or your back. Call QC Kinetics now and learn about these cutting-edge treatments that can help you live your best life. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. It's QC Kinetics.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car, or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature-Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Why do other agents have such a hard time selling your property? It's because they don't know how to price it correctly. But we know someone who does. Dawn Sharp and her team. Experience the Dawn Sharp team difference for yourself. The Sharp Homes team can give you options. Do you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold? Contact them to discuss their instant offer program. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Google them at Sharp Homes Team or pay them a visit at homesforsaleandkc.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
All power, zero compromise. Ego cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From blowers and trimmers to mowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it is the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
DQ presents how to hit summer's sweet spot. The new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat menu is here. And as the official treat of MLB, we're swinging big with our fan favorite S'mores Blizzard Treat. Plus, new mixing bowl mashup with brownie batter and chocolate chip cookie dough. And even more in our stacked summer lineup. Hurry in today because nothing says summer like baseball and our new Summer Blizzard Treat menu. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Take me out to my TV on FanDuel Sports Network. Yeah, yeah. Royals games, announcers, and more Royals games. Did I mention they have the Royals? Stream now.
Hang out with Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, 11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we will get to the Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year odds, including one player. Can he actually win both? Is that possible? We'll go through some of the odds, some of the long shots. Where would you put your money right now to win Offensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL? That's one of the fun things right after the draft. You get the odds immediately. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. And, last year, everybody thought Caleb Williams was a lock. Remember? Like, everybody thought, it's almost a guarantee that Caleb Williams was going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Remember having the conversation? We had it on this show.
And then it wasn't even close. Jaden Daniels won it.
Yeah, and we were in Vegas.
Running away.
We had people on. We were out at Circa in Vegas and everything. I remember talking about it. I think we had our friend Tim Murray from VSiN on, and we were like, Caleb Williams just winning this thing, right? And, of course, Jaden Daniels ends up winning it pretty comfortably by the time it was done. I mean, I know some people wanted to make a case for Brock Bowers or Bo Nix, but it wasn't really that. It was, I would say, week 11 or 12, Jane Daniels was the
because
guy.
It's such a bad quarterback year.
So
not be, as we'll talk about here in a minute, not be a bad year to take somebody off of the quarterback train.
All right, so I told you I wanted to tell you guys about something from this weekend. We didn't get to it on Monday or Tuesday. We were waiting for something to maybe happen, so we kind of held off on mentioning it on the show. Anybody that's listened to the show, you guys know, whether it was our Top Shot days, if you're way back from 2020, 2021.
An OG listener? Sure.
If you're an original Cody and Gold listener, you know we did the Top Shot cards, so the NFTs, right? And we ripped those packs on air, and we made some money off of that on the show, and we split it. It was a show thing that we did. And we still occasionally talk about cards on the show or whatever. And
or we talk about them in our personal lives a little bit,
And sports cards continue to blow up. Like the value of these, whether you're talking about a Bobby Wood Jr. rookie, a Cags Bowman card, Patrick Mahomes rookie card, whatever it may be, right? Like it's a real thing. It's very, very popular. That's why we're excited to have Art of Sports on board for our road trip. And so I occasionally do what they call card breaks. And instead of spending a ton of money on an individual box of cards, you can own a certain team in that break, right? And Fanatics does these breaks online. So Friday night, it's like I was at the Royals game. I got home from the Royals game. I was like, let me pop on there. There's a product that I wanted to see, a chance to get a Bobby Wood Jr. card. Anyway, within that break, there was a chance to pull a different pack of cards. And, well, we have the audio of it. This is what happened.
Yeah, Timmy, I don't do that hype. Y'all can kick me somewhere with that. Oh my God! Oh my God, record that! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my goodness gracious! Caitlin Clark 101!
Caitlin Clark, rookie card, gold vinyl 101. That was pulled for a break.
On the stream if people want to see it.
You can see it on the stream, also on my Twitter account.
So YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. He's got it up there right now, so you can see this card.
That pack was my pack. They
you
were opening
getting baseball cards, to be clear, when you bought into this break, right?
Initially, this was kind of like a consolation pack, essentially. Didn't think I ever had a chance. That pack that they opened, these guys are based out of Dallas or whatever. It's on Fanatics Live. And they ripped that pack. That card is mine. And I'm going to end up sending it to auction and get it graded and everything. It is estimated, depending on the grade, at minimum $10,000, if not up to a $20,000 card.
Okay, so did you know it was worth 10 the second it was pulled, or just like, damn, that's a nice card? Or was it like, I got to do some quick research and figure out if this was like a $200,000 or $10,000 or $2,000?
I knew it was a couple $1,000 card at least, like immediately. It's a rookie card.
It's worth 4 figures.
It's one of one. And then very quickly I realized, this might be like a $7,000 to $10,000 card. And there's a chance that's still what it is, but I have to get it graded. And that is in the process of happening, and it's going to be sent out to an auction site. We're going to have some more details on that in the future.
We'll be following it once it finally gets to auction or whatever, because you don't even have the card in hand yet.
Yeah, it's going to be going to be at an auction. We're going to work with them and have some fun on the show with it and everything. But yeah, man, like literally like a mini lotto ticket, basically. By the way, that spot cost me $59.
$59,
and so
and that's a lot for a. But now the box you guys were opening originally was what team did you get just out of? So you got in a baseball thing. You were trying to get the Bobby Witt. It's a randomizer a lot of times. If nobody does these card pulls, you can sign up, and sometimes you can sign up or pay extra for a slot for a team that's good. Yeah. But sometimes you can do random teams, which you had a random team.
Talking with people in the industry and even an auction house and stuff, I think conservatively, even if it doesn't grade well, it's $10,000. If it grades a 10, which is the best grade you can get, then 20 to 25 is in play. So obviously thrilled, pumped. I was like, I barely slept Friday night, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Adrenaline was rushing, man. Adrenaline rush. So,
sure.
So yeah, it was just a crazy hit. It's up on our Twitter account and stuff. And someone says don't have to sell ink. Yeah, this is not a show card. Sorry. It's not a show card.
That box is gone, by the way. Remember, I sold it at cost.
Yeah. Someone says, are you holding on to it? No, I am going to go ahead and flip this one right away. Caitlin Clark is one of the hottest cards and players in sports memorabilia right now. I think we all know the hype that she got last year, and this is a rookie card. So yeah, I'm not going to keep. I would love to sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm just going to keep it, and maybe. And look, by the way, it might
sometimes they go way.
It might be worth. That's the risk involved, right? It might be worth more in 5 years. There's a very good chance it could be, but I'll be honest. I would if I can get $20,000 for a card now,
for
or
$59
or $15,000, I'm going to go ahead and sell. So we'll find out that the auction and stuff. Working on it. It probably won't even be till June. So we got some time before any exact pricing. But the next step.
So now our next thing is PSA grading, right?
The
now
next
we're
step
like,
is
what's
going
it
to be
grading?
The next step is going to be sweating. What is it grade out at? We want a 10. I don't know if it's a 10 or not. I need to look at the card myself too. But yeah,
and I like how we all look at it like you're the person at PSA who's going to make a determination on it.
I know.
You'll know if a corner's dinged or if it's got some surface wear.
Yeah.
But like 9 or 10 is really what you need, right?
Yeah. A 9 or a 10. I think if it's a 9, I can probably get $10,000 to $12,000 for it. If it's a 10, $20,000's in play based on people I've talked to. So just crazy, man. We've talked about card breaks on the show before, and we might have some exciting news on something else that we as a show are going to be doing maybe very, very soon, to be determined on that. Stay tuned. So yeah, man,
Most likely.
just crazy.
Like
We've joked off air before. Like, what if you hit this blank? Like this is like a once in a lifetime.
Like we talked about that Paul
card
Skeens
pull.
card. It's not
Yeah.
pulling the Skeens, but like the odds of getting that is just so low.
Yeah, like that's $1 million card, right? Like this is obviously not on that level, but it's like a dang mini lottery and once in a lifetime pull. Here's the weird thing. Now, if I ever pull a card again, I could pull a really nice card that's worth $500, and unfortunately, it's like ruined forever. It's never gonna feel like a cool card anymore.
What, you're saying that the high's gone?
Yeah, like
a $500 card is a pretty big pull.
No, but it won't feel as special because now I'm like the coolest card I ever pulled. I already pulled. I'll never pull anything like this the rest of my life. Someone's, where did this card happen? Fanatics Live. It's a card platform online. You can download their app and there's different breakers on that. But
And Gold will put up the video, I think, on his social media page if you want to see the video of them pulling it.
Yeah.
I think we'll try to get that up at some point as well. But the photo of the card was up on the stream. Can you put it up one more time, Joe? If you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook.
Yeah, someone says
we'll put it up on the stream again for a second.
Someone says don't grade a 1 of 1. Yeah, I've already talked to people. In order to put it through auction, you have to grade it. And I understand the case for why you don't need to grade a 1 of 1 because there is no comp. I totally understand that. I've talked to people about it. Have to grade it to send it to auction. That's just how that works. Auctions aren't going to sell a raw card. So, yeah, it has to be graded.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to put? You could just try to get a cash offer. Maybe someone just give you $20K now.
I left that part out. Somebody offered me $7,000 cash already, but that is a very low ball offer. I'm not taking that. They already know that. I already said no.
Man, lowballed you. Lowballed you.
Initially, the offer was 5. Then they went up to 7. It's still too low.
So you got a $7,000 cash offer on the table right now. Uncle Sam doesn't have to know about that, you know.
Yeah, well, when they say
That's
cash,
the only
when they
thing,
say
you know,
cash
oh,
off,
that's a good
when they
point.
see,
That's
a fair point.
All I'm saying is that in that case, old Uncle Sam doesn't have to know anything about that sale.
When they say cash offer, like this is still they would not have like literally handed me cash.
They wouldn't have come up here.
I would still
and
have
hand
had
you a sack of money.
I still would have had to report it. Yeah, the auction, obviously, I'm going to have to pay taxes on. But I'll gladly pay. It gets free. It's found money. You think I care that I have to pay taxes off of a $12,000 or $15,000 card? I don't care about that.
Okay. I'm just at, like.
Cody off air was trying to
evade taxes.
Cody off air was trying to spend my money that I don't even have yet me.
I said, Alex has told us, like, his lease is up in a couple of months. I said, you take this $20,000, you go put a down payment on a house. I'm looking right now. Hold on, wait. No. I'm looking at a nice.
I can tell you, I can promise you, that's not what I'm going to do.
I can just look. I'm looking right now on Zillow. Got a little, and this is like it's like living in an apartment. Little 2-bed, 1-bath, downtown OP. Down payment on that. The estimated mortgage would be $1,600.
Do you want to live in a house
pretty much what it's rent.
I can promise you
it's
one
pretty
thing.
much what you're doing with rent.
There's a lot of options. I have some ideas what I want to do with the money. Some more responsible than others, and buying a house is not one of them.
Why? That's a very responsible thing to do with money. Buying a house is a responsible thing to do with a lot of money.
So you think the house?
I also don't know. There's a big difference between if it sells for 10 and if it sells for 20.
I'm saying in this case, if it sells for 10,
there's a big difference.
Because then you got your whole down payment.
My question is, buying a car, is that in the realm of possibility?
Some of the money, the plan would be some of the money would be put aside for when I eventually buy a car. Yes,
because this car is at least 10 years old. All I'm saying is that a house buying is actually that's how I would spend your money.
Yeah. Cody's going to have realtors DMing me now. Thank you.
My dad's a real estate agent. I wouldn't even have to
There it is. See, there it is.
Well, that's not why I'm suggesting you buy a house. I've never mentioned that up until this point.
No, I've got some ideas depending on what it sells for. And yeah, the car would be one of them. I mean, I'm not going to take all of it and just go buy a car. It would be.
You're doing a $500 parlay. I can feel it. I can feel it in my gut. You're going to gamble. It was a gamble to get the car. Now you're going to take some of that and gamble more. I know you're doing at least one reckless parlay.
Trying to be responsible. I've got some plans.
I think you're right, Cody. There's
at least one reckless parlay.
I'm going to do something fun with it, of course.
Or maybe buy into a nicer card break it, and you know what I'm saying, because I'm sure that there are ones for like really high end like product.
So we'll have an update over the next couple weeks on it. Like Cody said, the big thing now is going to be waiting to find out, is it great, is it 10, or is it 9?
If you missed it, he pulled a 1-of-1 Caitlin Clark out of a card break. You bought into a break out of one out of Dallas, and a 1-of-1 Caitlin Clark Panini card.
It's gold vinyl. It's gold vinyl, 1-of-1 rookie card out of a pack that was actually handed out during the national thing back in National Card Show in Cleveland in July, apparently. So, yeah, pretty fired up about that. It's weird. I'm obviously excited. It's been a little stressful the last couple of days. You're like, why is it stressful? Because I've been shipping and trying to figure out the next steps and obviously maximize the value of this
Talking
thing.
to people at auction houses.
And doing it properly and everything. So, yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good card, man. Not bad. you will never pull another card like that for the rest of your life.
No.
I don't think. I don't want to say for sure,
will
but
not.
seems unlikely based on
how confident.
This feels the opposite of when we pulled Bull when I asked you in Top Shot. What's the
That would have been the worst card we could have got.
What's the worst one we could pull? And you said Bull, and then we pulled
How
it.
confident are you that the Chiefs win the Super Bowl? Because you could take all 20K and flip that into 150,000.
Come on, that's just. I'm not. I said buy a house.
No.
Like I'm
Here's
not.
what
I'm
Drew,
not advocating for reckless behavior.
Yeah, I'd be more likely to put 20K that Drew's not breaking 100 at Augusta, honestly, than betting anything else. Yeah, or that's where I would be.
That wouldn't win you as much though.
Yeah, but it would guarantee me a win. No, I would make sure it would guarantee it, man.
Go to @Alex Gold or @Cody. I don't have the photo up. So @Alex Gold, he's got a photo of the card. If you
We'll
want to
also
see
have it up on our
we
social
put it up on the
media pages
stream.
later.
We'll put it up on the social media stream so you can see it as well. But yes, pretty good pull.
So we'll get an
it turns
update.
out.
We'll
Pretty
get an
good.
update in the next week or so. Whenever there's anything new, we'll keep an eye on that. And maybe I'll put up the video. I think you guys probably, for some of you, actually care about the video. Let me know. I'll put it up. I know some of you don't care, so we didn't need to put it up on the station account yet, but I'll put it on my personal account @Alex Gold. All right, let's talk about offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. We mentioned that there's one player, of course, that has a chance to do both, and that's the fun storyline right now. Do you actually believe Travis Hunter can win offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year? I'm fascinated by this market right now because, and I'll get you the odds in a second, but we know Travis Hunter is going to play more wide receiver. I think that's pretty obvious, but we know the Jags are going to let him play both. He's going to play corner and wide receiver. Even though they're two separate awards, I think Travis Hunter just playing corner a little is going to help his offensive rookie of the year case, right? Like this is
Because they'll be like, wow, he had 1,000 yards, but look, he also was playing corner.
And that's what's weird about this. How are voters going to think? Because offensive rookie of the year should have nothing to do with what you're doing on defense. That's why we have a defensive rookie of the year.
Every award is narrative based.
People are going to have the narrative and say, wow, he's got 1,000 yards as a rookie, and he's playing 40% of the snaps on defense. Oh, that makes that offensive numbers even more impressive. I think that is what's going to happen for a lot of people, and so you're going to see this market be bet quite a bit. The rookie of the year market, it looks on FanDuel. I was pulling it up. It's down on mine. I don't know if it's up on yours, Cody. But
I have an article from yesterday.
Okay, there you go.
Right now, the offensive rookie of the year odds co-tied for first, Ashton Genty and Cam Ward. Tied for first, which is rare for a quarterback situation. But Cam Ward's the only quarterback you can comfortably bet and know that he is going to be a starter from day one, no questions asked. So the other guys would be a long shot. Ashton Genty feels like a logical favorite. Travis Hunter plus 550 as of a day ago. Tet McMillan plus 1,300, Hampton plus 1,500, Tyler Shuck plus 2,000, and then and so on and so forth. I don't think there's anybody outside of Hunter, Ward, and Genty I'd bet. And I know that you're talking about like the long shot, like maybe Tet McMillan for the Panthers and Bryce Young just go off. But the Travis Hunter narrative thing's going to be really tough to beat. Quarterbacks are already tough to beat. And Ashton Genty could have 1,400 all-purpose yards in year one.
And I think there's only one quarterback that can win it this year. Last year, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, obviously Caleb Williams, these were all quarterbacks that had a legit chance to win it, Cody. I don't think this year it's a competitive field for the award from a quarterback perspective. We know QBs get an edge on offensive rookie of the year. I'm kind of with you. Yeah, Cam Ward has a great shot. He's going to start week one. If he just has an average rookie year, he's probably winning this award. But you're only worried about one quarterback. This would be a year maybe to take a look at non-quarterback to win offensive rookie year.
I think Ashton Genty is a favorite for a reason. Now,
he's the actual favorite still? Because Cam Ward was on Saturday. Is Genty truly the favorite right this second?
This is based on this is BetMGM's.
Okay.
So it just kind of depends.
Shop around.
This is one site. I'm not saying this is like guaranteed across the board, but as of right now, he's the co-favorite with Cam Ward because again, you just don't. People don't know whether or not Cam Ward's good enough. He has no offensive talent around him, in my opinion. It's thin picking, and I think Ashton Genty could have 1,000 yards rushing and another couple hundred yards immediately. On the defensive rookie of the year odds, Travis Hunter, do you like him just the same? Because for the same, isn't like you said, vice versa it applies. If Travis Hunter is a good rookie corner, but has 850 yards receiving, isn't he more likely to win Defensive Player of the Year, even though Abdul Carter has 10 sacks? He's doing two things. Shouldn't it work both ways?
I don't think if in that exact scenario, if Carter has 10 sacks, I don't think Carter loses the award.
Because he's the favorite. Travis Hunter, Jalen Walker, Michael Williams, Mike Green, some of the other guys on the board, like Shamar Stewart, plus 1,500, Drew, if you're just feeling extra salty. Defensive Player of the Year is a much wider net. Like, that's the one where I shop for value more, don't you? Because all it takes is one guy to have a big sack season.
It's all sack or interception related, right?
It's all like who ended up having 9 sacks or who ended up having 5 interceptions. Like, you can go a lot of that, but that's why I feel like Travis Hunter could win it. Like, that's why part of me thinks you parlay them together. Your best bet is parlay Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Travis Hunter. Pair them together and see what you get. See what you can get together. I don't know on
some books
season
will let
long.
you.
Some will.
Some books will let you. Just depends. Yeah.
Like, find the one, parlay them together, and see what happens in this world. Because if he ends up being a solid corner too and has 875 to 950 yards receiving, I think it's a really strong argument he wins both.
The long shot to look at, and it's not even that long of a shot. We disagreed on this yesterday. We were going through landing spots for quarterbacks and who starts first. If you're convinced, Drew, that Shedeur Sanders is starting by week 6 of the season or week 5, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
If you're convinced he's starting now, if he's not starting until week 12, it's too late. He's not winning.
Yeah, he's got to start by first month.
If you think there's a chance he starts in the first month or so of the season, that's an interesting one to put a little sprinkle on.
Does Shedeur have better odds than Shuck?
I would assume so.
Again,
I wasn't able to.
Shuck does.
He does.
It's got to be because they assume that Shuck's going to be
You're
starting.
on betting. Let me pull up FanDuel. I don't know why it's not pulling up for me. Let's see.
This is the shot because, like, they're best guessing Shuck starting.
Right.
Like, he's got a much better chance to start.
And that's the thing. I wonder if you're convinced. I'm not, but if you're convinced that Shedeur is going to play quicker than
play more than half the season, essentially,
then that's an interesting one. Here we go. Let me see if it's actually going to pull up now. I was just trying to NFL futures. Here we go.
Over on here, I just pulled another one. Over on FanDuel, Shuck is the 4th best odds, plus 1,200. You have to go all
FanDuel
the way down.
Just doesn't have it up.
Jackson Dart would be above him. Will Howard would be. Jalen Milroe is above Shedeur.
Is he really?
Hold on. Wow. Maybe I just missed his name. Now I'm worried. No, I missed his name. I was like, that seems too low. Plus 1,900, which plus 1,200 for Tyler Shuck. He's below Quinshon Judkins for Rookie of the Year. Because that's the other guy. If I wasn't going to take Ashton Jeanty, here's the truth. I'd probably end up betting either what we said, Travis Hunter plus 750, or I would take a chance on running backs come into the league all the time and kick ass. Like Amarian Hampton, Quinshon, like Quinshon less because he's on a good team. Amarian Hampton on a really good team.
That runs the ball a lot because it
runs the ball a lot. Like, you can't tell me that that's a crazy one. Like, it would make some sense that he would be a logical guy to maybe do it. But like I said, they pointed out the media wants Hunter to win too, which also matters.
Trash of the day.
I got one. You've got one too?
I didn't mean to interrupt so quick. I actually found a trash of the day today, completely unrelated to anything to the show.
Okay.
But I didn't want to miss this one, just in case, time and all that other stuff.
Sure.
Trash of the day today comes, I don't think it's related to anything we're doing, where after poor man was beaten
What?
and robbed
Where's this?
for $5,000 after arranging the sale for a Pokemon card in a parking lot.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So,
okay, Cody. Okay.
as cards continue to get higher and higher,
Okay.
this man in North South Wales had a card ready to sell.
Wales?
A nice Charizard PSA 9 base set card. Set up the ability to sell it as a holo, which matters in the Pokemon and in the regular whatever game. Had it ready to go. He's set to sale for $5,000, shows up, guy robbed him and beat him up for it. So what I'm saying is, I'm just bringing this up as like a lesson in life.
Why would you do that to him?
This is why.
He's not going to sell it in the parking lot anyway.
This is also another reason why I am going the auction house route. Like I've already talked to an auction house, and they are going to handle the sale for the card.
This is what you don't want to just sell it to a dude in a parking lot?
No, we got a good negotiation with them. They're not taking any fees on my end.
Is that 5,000 in like U.S. currency, or is it like quid or sterling?
Pounds?
Yeah.
He did not say.
Pounds or sterling. Because I wonder, because obviously
it just says $5,000. This article is based in the U.S. They say $5,000.
Gotcha.
Still, it's a good amount of money.
He said, he wanted to sell it. It's worth a lot more, but unfortunately, these kind of things attract people with violent and frightening experience. Trying to take his $5,000 card in the parking lot
for money. This guy should not be trying to sell a $5,000 card in the parking lot, though.
Yeah, honestly,
that's just
who
dumb.
are you
That's
trusting
just
to
dumb.
sell $5,000 for the
dumb.
product to? Do it in a public space or something.
Well,
that episode.
I just wouldn't meet somebody. Period.
But
You'd have to have some other arrangement.
But at the very least, this makes me think of the episode of Breaking Bad when he meets him in the abandoned car lot and Tuco's like, "What? The mall's not open? Like, do this in the open a little bit, so you're not putting yourself at risk. Like, you're less likely to get beat up if you don't just meet this guy in a dark parking lot than if you meet it like like a lot of times they tell you online to just meet in the police parking lot, like you just go meet in a local police department parking lot, which you could do as well. But yeah, don't meet them at the random parking lot at the department store. Meet them in a public place where someone else might be around.
How timely for that trash of the day. How timely.
I thought while you were thinking about it, maybe don't sell it in the parking lot so you don't get robbed.
Completely unrelated, yeah. That's the trash of the day.
I was trying to protect you.
You stole my trash of the day. I'm going to steal your random question later on.
Okay.
I'm going to steal you stole my trash of the day.
So you want? I have a random question. That's fine.
I'm going to steal your random question later on, coming up at 12:40 or so. I'll just steal that one from you. We can do that. All right, coming up next, we'll get to the Chiefs' red half hour. We'll talk more about Chris Jones and the production from a year ago. And there was a running back I really, really liked last year for the Chiefs. He's still out there. Cody wants to convince me that it should happen still. I'm not so sure. We'll tell you who that is next.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Jefferson's has a brand new happy hour designed to save you money. Enjoy half off appetizers and half off your bar tab. 7 days a week at Jefferson's Lenexa and Jefferson's North Kansas City. Yeah, you heard that right. Half off your bar tab during happy hour at both locations. And it gets even better. Mondays are all day happy hour. Plus, they've got reverse happy hour every night. Whether you're catching the game or just kicking back with family and friends, Jefferson's in Lenexa and North Kansas City is the place to be. Proudly local and always delicious. Jefferson's. Wings, burgers, oysters.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you buy a new house, you might say,
"Shut the front door."
Winning!
No, seriously, shut the front door. We own this house now.
But you actually need to say,
"Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there."
That's right. The local State Farm agent is there to help you choose the coverage you need.
Welcome to my crib. No one says that anymore, but I don't care.
So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
This postseason, BetMGM, authorized gaming operator of the NBA, is making first field goal scorer wagers more exciting with Second Chance. What's Second Chance? Ever bet on your favorite baller to score the first field goal, only to see him dish the rock to his teammate for the easy layup? Well, with BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back in cash if your first field goal scorer scores second instead. That's right, simply bet on any player to score the first field goal during any playoff game. If you're right, you win, but if your pick scores second instead of first, you get your stake back in cash. Keep the hoop dreams alive this NBA playoffs, even if your bet misses. Grab the chance at getting your stake back at BetMGM, authorized gaming operator of the NBA. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. But what if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you could sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9393 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirt cannon. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
It's almost Andy Reid. The off-season is a perfect time for a $100 tune-up from Renner Garage Door. Get a free replacement quote today. Call or click rennerdoor.com. Renner forward and back.
RENNER. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Someone did say you could raise a lot of money for the Cody Gold garage sale if you're just willing to.
Yes, I could. Yes, we could.
We could raise a lot of money for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Drew, if he just put it in the Cody and Gold garage sale, you know?
Yeah, that is true.
We can get a replica of it. We can sell a replica. We can sell a replica of it.
You take a photo of it?
Get a replica. I'm not even kidding. I might actually get a, not for the garage sale, but I might actually get a high-res photo of it and framed up just because something something I'll remember the rest of my life. Just because
you won't have it, but you want to remember the card.
Yeah, because I'm selling the card immediately. But if I'm going to sell for $20,000 or $15,000, like it's still something like 20 years from now when she retires from the WNBA, it's going to be a cool thing. Like, oh yeah, remember when that card? Which by that point, by the way, the card will probably be worth more at that point. But I'm not waiting 20 years.
But that's do yourself a favor. Don't follow it. You're going to regret it. You're going to regret it if 5 years from now it goes up for auction and somebody's selling it for $60. You're just going to regret it.
I don't know if it will, though, because there'll be more. There'll be more. So it's a one-of-one card, but
one-of-one rookie. No more rookies.
No more rookies, but there'll be other one-of-one cards. Not like this card, but there'll be other ones. And so if at that point there's a chance this one actually could become less valuable. So I'm selling it right away, right? Like it's going to be in a June auction. And if you're just joining us, you can go back, listen to the last segment while what the heck we're talking about.
I don't think we're
now,
knocking your decision. It's just don't follow it because you could also just be like, dang, like there's.
I think you're going to drive it'd be like a madman. You're just like,
I'm not going to check every day, but like it'll be one thing like a year or two from now. You're damn right I'm going to check this. But also, if nobody sells it, I won't know what it's worth, right? I mean, somebody else, whoever buys
if they
it
buy it
eventually,
for their collection and hold on to it rather than
an
investment opportunity, then it won't sell again anyway.
There's plenty of examples of cards that people thought, I'll just hold on to it and they're worth jack bleep. You know, it goes back to the prospect stuff we're talking about in baseball. Right now, even with Jack Caglione, right?
His cards are hot.
His cards are hot. If he ends up not being what people think, his cards won't be worth anything in a couple years. Now, if he's what people think, his cards are going to triple.
When you invested in Bobby Witt Jr., you invested
Yeah.
wisely. When you invested in some other players, maybe not.
No.
So
I'd rather take some of the money I'm going to get from the card and put it in
a house.
No.
I found a lovely. It's downtown, just off 75th.
No.
Like it's inside an You'd be nice and close to work.
Part of the money for the card, I already know. We'll get a little boost to the IRA, a little cash infusion to the IRA. That's part of the plan.
I mean, that's smart. That's also a good investment. But
all right, let's talk some Chiefs football.
Tell Alex how to spend his money. Text line 913-586-7965.
All right, let's talk about Chris Jones, who will be 31 in July. So 31 throughout this upcoming season. And we were just having a discussion about the defensive line, and we were looking at sack numbers. And it probably would surprise some of you, maybe, if you weren't really keeping track. Chris Jones had 5 sacks last year. He had 10.5 the year before, had 15.5 the year before that. Yet he was an all-pro. I still think you watch the games and you realize how much he wrecked the offensive line and allowed other guys to have opportunities. You're a little more concerned than I am. I think that is there a chance that I don't know if this is the new norm, but he's not going to be a double-digit sack guy anymore.
I think this is the first year that you can express concern of age.
Yeah.
Up until this point, there was no reason to mention concern. He was playing at an incredibly high level. He's still an all-pro last year, and he was still a really, really good player. Not making any of those arguments. But they went from second in sacks 2 years in a row to 18th in sacks, and the biggest drop-off was him. He went from 10.5 2 years ago, 15.5 3 years ago, to 5 this year. He was behind Karlaftis and Turk Wharton in sacks this previous year. Now, you could make the argument, he is, and a pretty good one, I would think, that he is part of the reason that Turk Wharton got the number of sacks he got and eventually got his paycheck.
Yeah.
But at 31 years old, Gold, if we go through half of the season this year and Chris Jones is sitting at 2.5, 3.5 sacks, I'm going to bring up the age thing again. I'm getting ahead of this conversation now because we bring it up with Travis Kelce. You guys want to talk about Father Time and being undefeated. 31 interior defensive linemen. I watched it eventually get Aaron Donald. Took a long time, and he was never a bad player. I don't think Chris Jones is way too great of a player. He's a future Hall of Fame player. He's too good to just be bad. I don't think any of that's ever, but like the effectiveness level that he was before, not so much. And that's probably also part of the reason they hammered the draft at defensive line. Right? That's probably the reason that they win in the second and the third rounds at those positions for Gelati and for Norman Lott.
So I think for him, having somebody else that can draw some attention is going to lead for the sack number to be up. Now, I don't think he's ever getting to 15.5 sacks again, Cody. I think that's done. That was a unbelievable year for Chris Jones. It's what got him another huge, huge payday. Can he get back to being 10 sacks, 9.5? I think that's still in play at this point in his career. I think Charles Omenihu being on the field, hopefully for the first time for a full season. Haven't had that. He's been on this team. He has never played a full season. One was self-inflicted, obviously off the field issue, and then last year he was in the middle of recovering from an ACL injury, Charles Omenihu was. So Omenihu in a contract year, him playing a full season at the level we've seen when he's been available should help Chris Jones a little bit. The rookies,
but he loses,
we wanted
Turk's
them to.
help,
He loses Turk's help. The rookies are a wild card right now, right? Like I like the draft picks, but they're rookies, and so we'll see what they ultimately can do. But I don't think he's going to have 5 sacks again. I also don't think he's probably having 12 or 15. I think he gets back to like an 8 to 10, 9 to 11 range of sacks this year, and he'll still be an All-Pro again. I don't think we're going to see
nothing of his career. He'll be exactly where he was.
I don't think we're going to see the fall off of her of his numbers. Right?
I'll say that's a big problem for this team if we do. If he's a 5-sack guy again, and this is what's so funny. Last year, really think back to last year and realize what happened here. They were 18th in sacks, 12th in offensive points per game. And that was a team that still got to the Super Bowl. And so they could overcome a lot because of Andy Reid, because of Patrick Mahomes. They could overcome a lot of deficiencies. You don't notice them. For the same as the more, and this is probably a hot take. The more I think about last year's team, even though they won 15 games, the more I look at the bigger numbers, the sack totals, the offensive numbers, the lack of the injuries on offense, the lack of superior players on defense. They way overachieved last year. Because of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, they did the things the Patriots did all the time. That was not a Super Bowl caliber team last year. They went to a Super Bowl and they didn't almost win the Super Bowl, but they got to a Super Bowl last year. That was a team that if you didn't have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and you just had the half step down from them, I'm not saying you had Bryce Young and Dave Canales, but you had the step down from there and you had a really good quarterback. You had Joe Burrow and and Mike Tomlin, a really good coach, really good quarterback. You lose in the divisional round. That's what that team was last year. They got to a Super Bowl. You might lose in the wild card round as a division winner. That team overperformed based on what they were last year because they couldn't get to the quarterback consistently enough. They couldn't score fast or quickly or easy enough, and they still got to the Super Bowl. Chris Jones is such a swing player for them back on defense this year. Get him back in the sack game with a couple of rookies, and okay, not the sixth best scoring defense, the second best again, or the third best, whatever.
A few people mentioned on the text line, they said, hey, well, are we forgetting that this is why he's a future Hall of Famer, but defensive tackles, sack numbers are typically not in the 15.5 range, which is what he's obviously had, or 10.5 range. I think that's part of it. We've just seen him in the same role do it, and so that's probably why. But I still maintain last year, time and time again, we would point out double team, triple team. This is unbelievable. The attention that he draws, and that has to be considered. I know you just look at the sack numbers, and that's how people judge him. But if you watch last year, I think it would be incorrect to say he was not effective last year or he had a bad year. That would be wild. I know you're not saying he had a bad year. Sack numbers, though, for this defense, yes. Would it be very important for them to get back to where they were if for that sack number to be at least around 9 or 10 again? Would that help in a huge way? Of course. I really think the key is a Menahue on this. For the overall defensive line sack numbers, and can the defense a Menahue, and if this secondary is better, if Trent McDuffie has a better partner out there, basically, than he had last year, does he have Christian Fulton playing at a high level? Does the rookie Noah Williams really help? If the secondary is better, that also helps your defensive line. It works both ways.
They were weaker in the secondary because they were relying on, and I'm not even denying the fact that he's double and triple teamed. This is not, Chris Jones is not the same player conversation. This is, they need Chris Jones to get back. Sacks matter. Like, we can talk till we're blue in the face about pressure or being near the quarterback, and you can go back and but you got to get finishing plays, which is what the Eagles did against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's a difference maker. I'm not saying you can't win games or have success. The Chiefs had plenty of success and won a lot of games last year. I just look back and I'm just like, Chris Jones was the reason why they didn't get to the sack numbers that we're accustomed to. Now, I guess right now on paper, you think it's a better defensive line right now than last year? Would you guess right now this will be a better performing sack team than last year?
Sack-wise, yes. One, because it dropped off so much already, so I'm just banking on looking at the number.
Yeah,
they're not
some other guys will come back, yeah.
So, yes, I think they will. Where you and I differed yesterday was I don't think we can say they're a deeper defensive line right this second, because two of the pieces are rookies, and another one, part of the equation is Felix. So I don't think it's deeper, but will the sack numbers be higher this year? I think because of a variety of factors, yes. The ones we mentioned, the secondary as well.
Did he go up in sacks last year? I'm trying to remember where he was from a year
ago. He had a better season. I don't know what his sack numbers were, but relatively speaking,
look,
right?
I know.
This was mentioned more on the positive end.
Well, he had more.
Season.
Honestly, he had more plays where he made an impact. He had a lot more plays where he was doing a good job on the edge in the defensive, in the running game. He had more plays where he appeared to be a viable player. Yeah, he had 2.5 sacks last year versus a half sack the year before. So, for him, it's can you become a 4-sack guy, 5-sack guy? I know that's not the billing of a first-round pick. Fine. Forget that. I'll bury that. I don't care about that. I care about you're 23 years old. You've been in the league now 2 years. You've been active for all 34 games, so you're available. That's a huge thing.
You want him to get the 5 sacks is what you want.
He doubled his sack. He doubled his tackle total. He tripled his tackle for loss total from his rookie year. He added 2 more sacks to it. And I get it's a half sack versus 2.5 sack. He made improvement from year 1 to year 2. Can you do it again? Because then you are a nice rotational defensive lineman who I can live with. You're not, again, the billing of the first round pick, that's going to be tough. Good luck. But rotational defensive lineman who matters, I talk about, Turk Wharton, he had 5.5 sacks.
Yeah.
So you want to be a 5.5 sack guy with 7 tackles for loss. He had 6 last year. You want to get 7 to 8 tackles for loss? Cool.
I do think that
I'll make that work.
The point regarding the secondary is interesting because that was a topic we mentioned 2 years ago when L'Jarius Sneed was still there and how effective they were in regards to how many sacks the Chiefs got. Last year, of course, we didn't have the secondary performance, you could say. Not that they didn't have it to go to the Super Bowl or to win it, but it was inconsistent enough where you were wondering, you were a little bit worried about Najee Johnson. You were worried about Joshua Williams. You were worried about Jalen Watson because the injury stuff or whatever the case was. Where now, if Christian Fulton and Noel Williams can find a way to solidify the room in terms of consistency a little bit more, that I would think would help out things with the pass rush. Maybe not numbers-wise necessarily, but just in terms of the ease, it looks like they're putting pressure on the quarterback. It doesn't look like it's difficult to get to the quarterback anymore because the secondary is doing a better job.
Don't forget, coming up, Saturday, May 3rd, we're going to keep telling you because we only got a couple days left. We're going to be down in Springfield for the Cody Gold road trip. We're watching Jack Caglione play some baseball. If you just like young, promising players, that's certainly there. Tickets still available for $10 at 965thefan.com. We have over 200 people heading out that way. We're going to meet at Harbell's. At the latest, we'll be there at 3:30, but from 3:30 to 5 to hand out T-shirts before. We're staying in Springfield, going to have a good time down there as well. Look forward to meeting, seeing all of you, watching Jack Caglione play baseball. Hoping to have some extra content for you coming out of that as well. But come down and watch Caglione play if you want to do it. Looking for something to do this weekend. Weather right now in Springfield appears to be 70 and sunny. And for those of you who are worried Caglione wouldn't be in AA, it's now Wednesday the week of. So we're in good shape.
Yeah, and our road trip is presented by The Artist Sports Cards, collectibles right there in Town Center Plaza. Open 7 days a week. They buy, they sell, they trade cards. They're a direct MVP account for Topps and Panini. They got a wide selection of single cards, sealed boxes, memorabilia, you name it. Maybe you're looking for that Bobby Witt card. Maybe you're looking for a Caitlin Clark card. Who knows?
You know whatever
it may
you're looking
right?
for.
That is,
Alex will sell that to you for 20 G's right now.
No, it's going to the auction house. It's going to the auction house. All right, let's talk about a running back that last year.
I saw this name pop up, and I immediately thought of you.
You said, hey, are you interested still?
You were banging the drum last year.
I was. Last year, the running back I wanted the Chiefs to sign was J.K. Dobbins. He ended up having a nice year.
We don't have any assurances in the running back position right now, that's still Pacheco and Hunt.
My answer is no, because they've created what I think is their room already, right? Like, if you would have told me they would have not signed Kareem Hunt or Elijah Mitchell and they would have signed J.K. Dobbins to go with Pacheco and then draft a running back, I would have loved that too. But the running back room is the running back room. Like, I don't think they're bringing anybody else in. It is what it is. I think J.K. Dobbins would have been a nice piece last year, would have provided some explosiveness. I think he could do the same this year. But the answer is no, only because I know what the room is the room, I think, at this point.
So I would be open to it, probably more than you, partially because I don't have any assurances in the room. Like Kareem Hunt, I'll just be honest, I'm worried about his health because they ran his ass into the ground last year. To the point, the reports out of the Chiefs camp were that he was so tired at the end, they were welcoming Pacheco back. Like his legs were cooked. He's a running back in his 30s. And I'm not here to say that J.K. Dobbins is some picture of health. He made it a while last year before eventually he got hurt. But he still had juice. 195 carries, 905 yards, the 4.6 yards per carry. He is only 26 years old. This is why the Chargers have the first right to negotiate the contract with him and why a very rare thing, the restricted free agent stuff, ended up getting used on him. If he ends up on the street, as in you owe no compensatory stuff, if he's on the street in, this is what we're talking about, July, and you don't even owe a compensatory pick, it doesn't factor into the formula, it doesn't factor against the formula for you, do it. Welcome him in with open arms. What's 3 people?
He's
why. More healthy, or he's as healthy as Elijah Mitchell.
I think the thing is, last year they brought him in for a visit. The same day they had him in for a visit,
the injury though.
The same day they brought him for a visit, they signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, I
remember that? And I was bummed out. I wanted J.K. Dobbins. I think
he wanted more money.
And he had a nice year. And I wonder what's going to happen if he's going to go back to the Chargers or not, because they have Najee Harris and they just drafted Amari and Hampton. I mean, to me, no. Like, if you're J.K. Dobbins, why are you going to that running back room with Najee Harris and Amari and Hampton? I think J.K. Dobbins is going to go somewhere else, but I just wish they would have.
I mean, how many guys do they have in the room right now? 5? 6?
They have Hunt, Pacheco, Smith, Elijah Mitchell. Those are the 4 main names. And then you have Carson Steele and some undrafted guys.
You know how quickly you can just get rid of Elijah Mitchell and Smith? I mean, if you can upgrade. It's not going to cost you more than a few million bucks.
I'm I want Dobbins in the running back room. I'm just saying they're not going to do it. There's too many. They got too many guys in the room. Right? By bringing back Kareem Hunt and signing Mitchell. Those were their 2 free agent running back signings, as far as I'm concerned.
And unfortunately, they did it before. And I don't know if they just didn't think that J.K. was available, or they didn't want to look at Nick Chubb at all. Even though he posted that, I don't know if you guys saw that video where he was 2 foot jumping over hurdles all the way set to the max the other day. It was a pretty ridiculous video.
Is he a restricted Cody free agent? Is that what you said?
You said Dobbins.
Yes. Technically, he'll count against the compensatory formula, which means they'll have the first right to do it. He won't become like a full free agent until July.
Chubb's a free agent, though, isn't he? Chubb's full-fledged free agent, I think.
I mean, they drafted 2 running backs. I hope he's a damn free agent.
I think they cut him.
I saw him doing a squat that looked a lot more impressive than whatever you would rack up the other day.
Well, no kidding. No kidding. No kidding.
Okay.
No kidding.
To your point, you're just saying, why not just bring in Chubb? Why not bring in... This goes back to the whole thing, like, the whole... I don't understand what the Chiefs are doing at running back. What was the rush on Kareem Hunt?
That's my thing.
Like, I just don't... Elijah, like, why did they bring them in? So Chubb's on the street. Maybe like, there are better available running backs on the street. Unless they are just 100% all the way in on Isaiah Pacheco, and they think he's coming right back to old Isaiah Pacheco form. The moves actually don't make sense other than they're dirt cheap. Elijah Mitchell and Kareem Hunt are about as cheap as you can pay. You'd have to pay Chubb more. You'd have to pay Dobbins more if you were to pay those guys in free agency. You'd have to pony up a little bit, not crazy money or anything, but a little bit more. This goes back to the whole thing. I don't understand this like rush to be like, well, we secured our running back room. And look, with Brashard Smith, I really do hope he turns into as good of running back as Ashton Jeanty in the 6th. I can feel it in my bones. The hype machine is already out of control on him. It is April 30th, and somehow Brashard Smith, a 7th-round pick hype machine, is already too high.
Is he going to be
crazy?
Are they saying he's going to start? Is that what they're...
He was listed as a top 50 draft pick in any draft pick that they liked in Matt Miller's comp.
But that's not that crazy though. That's different than people when we're in St. Joe acting like he's going to be a 1,200-yard rusher. That's you know what I mean.
And I don't remember the exact numbers, but there were like 2 or 3 maybe running backs all time who've rushed for 1,000 yards out of the 7th round.
Correct. Yes.
So unless you got Curtis Martin in this, and again, I'm not saying it's a 0% chance, but like we should face the reality that the likelihood of that is kind of low.
The Chiefs one time fortunately hit on a 7th-round pick, and it was Isaiah Pacheco. And now, because they did it one time, everybody assumes that that's what Smith's going to be. And
I think he's a good pick.
That's best case scenario stuff.
The Curtis Martin name, I haven't heard Curtis Martin's name since like Madden 2005.
Yeah, it's not a name that comes up very
underrated
often.
Running back. Look at his stats. Go look at his stats. Unbelievable career, Curtis Martin with the Jets.
How much more do you think Nick Chubb is going to sign for than Kareem Hunt or Mitchell? I don't know.
Not much.
I mean, how much more? Because and you're right, Cody. It can't be an injury thing.
Yeah, because Elijah Mitchell's one of the least healthy players on the planet.
Exactly. It can't be. They're worried about the injuries of J.K. or Nick Chubb.
Pacheco's played. He'll now be into his year 3. He's missed games in both seasons and missed a huge chunk of last year. Like, Kareem Hunt's actually the healthy one of the group. He's the guy who's available down in and down out. I'm just worried about like his body grinding to a halt. He's 30 years old. Like, I mean, it's just like at running back that might as well be 90. Like, I mean, that's getting to the tail end. There's a big difference between 26 and 30. And I'm not saying J.K. Dobbins is healthy. I'm just saying they have not valued health at the running back position. That's not been the marker of whether or not they're willing to get him.
It's way too early to say this will be the eventual path. Because remember, this happened because Pacheco got hurt. But someone's like, I can already see it now. By week 7, they're going to have to sign a running back off the street. I think that's being a little negative. Like if Pacheco's healthy and Kareem Hunt are healthy, right? You know what I mean? They're not going to be so bad in the running back room where they are going to need to go sign someone mid-season. The only way they're signing somebody mid-season is if there's multiple injuries to the running back room. You know where we're at on the running backs. Just thought they could have been more explosive in the running back room. I don't think it's an explosive running back room. I hope I'm wrong about that, but that's why.
Brashard Smith is their best chance of being an explosive running back room. And so they need him to kind of to get that role, they need him to pan out a little bit this year,
All right, coming up next, we'll get to what's trending before we talk more about expectations for a player making his MLB debut tonight on the mound for the Royals.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Underdog is one of the best places to make entries during this basketball playoffs because of their extender program. With the extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. So start a playoff series, getting ready to start round 2 here soon. Choose a game 1 boost, continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the more you're doing it, the bigger the boosts over at Underdog. It's one of the best places that you can do it on the Missouri side. You can make those selections, choose higher or lower than points, assists, rebounds on Jokic if you want. Doesn't matter who you like. You can choose those and make those selections over at Underdog. Millions of fans have already won billions, so why not be next? Download the Underdog app and sign up using promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAPP. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/extend.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Has your home been on the market without success? An expired listing can feel frustrating, but it doesn't have to be the end of your journey. The Sharp Homes team specializes in turning things around. The Sharp Homes team can give you options. Do you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold? Contact them to discuss their instant offer program. In fact, contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. You can Google them at Sharp Homes Team or visit them at homesforsaleInKC.com and start packing.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-265-7681. 800-265-7681. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-265-7681.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Gear up, race fans. Sioux Cup IndyCar Race Weekend is roaring into Iowa Speedway July 11th to the 13th, featuring the only NTT IndyCar Series doubleheader weekend on the 2025 schedule. Sioux Cup IndyCar Race Weekend has become one of the most anticipated and action-packed events in racing. Tickets are going fast. Score yours today and get ready to feel the rush at the fastest short track on the planet. Visit IndyCar@Iowa.com for tickets. Sioux Cup IndyCar Race Weekend at Iowa Speedway, the ultimate summer racing event.
Catchy tune, right? But don't let the urge to sing along distract you from the truck drifting towards your lane, or that lane-splitting biker creeping up beside you. Fortunately, every Hyundai offers advanced safety features that can alert you to potential dangers around you. And Hyundai has over 130 IIHS Top Safety Awards since 2006. Because Hyundai is always working to ensure the road doesn't... IIHS Top Safety Awards include Top Safety Pick and Top Safety Pick Plus awards to Hyundai vehicles from 2006 to 2025.
Why'd I go to the doctor?
One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Take me out to my TV on FanDuel Sports Network. Yeah. Royals games, announcers, and more Royals games. Did I mention they have the Royals? Stream now.
Kansas City, this is Michael Massey. Listen to the play-by-play all season long with Denny, Jake, Ryan, and Stu right here on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's trending here on Cody and Gold is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. The Royals will have Noah Cameron on the mound tonight. He takes the spot of Cole Reagans while Cole Reagans continues to recover from that groin injury. Still hasn't been put on the IL. That's the good news. But Noah Cameron will make his debut, St. Joe native. He'll be pitching up against the Rays this evening. We're going to talk more about what we expect and what it could mean, etc., coming up after What's Trending. But it's always fun when you get a chance to see someone, more so even as a starting pitcher, I guess, with this organization recently, make a debut. He'll have that MLB debut patch on the sleeve, man.
That'll be
in a card. That'll be in a card eventually.
Down the road, Anytime it's like a really high, like Jack Caglianone's, I can't even imagine. Once he makes his debut, it's going to go. We'll have to get, we might have to invest in a. Oh, man. Might be worth us trying to get a product. Yeah. Just to have a little fun on the show.
That's at least a year away from the product standpoint.
Yeah. A little ways down the road. Next up on What's Trending, Eli Manning is looking into minority ownership of the New York Giants, reportedly getting a group together right now to try to put that bid together. Not often. You see lots of former athletes who make a ton of money, and they do, obviously with their production company and Omaha Productions and everything else. But you don't often see it with the team they actually played with. A lot of times you just see it like any ownership group. So Eli trying to get involved with the New York Giants.
NBA postseason last night. We saw a series wrap up between the Celtics and the Magic. We also saw the Pacers come from behind to beat the Bucks 119-118 in overtime. They definitely did. So the Pacers move on. Celtics move on. The Pistons have stayed alive. That series now 3-2 after a win against the Knicks. Also, the Nuggets take a 3-2 lead on the Clippers. So here's what we got tonight. Warriors-Rockets. Golden State can clinch that series with a win. You've got the Timberwolves tonight. They can clinch the series against the Lakers. Can the Lakers push this to a game 6? We will find out.
Like it if one of these series got extended. Obviously, last night looked like maybe the Bucks would try to extend that thing a little bit out, but the Pacers came back, so it didn't matter. Next up on What's Trending, the Atlanta Falcons have been fined $250,000 as an organization as a part of those numbers leaking for potential prospects as the son of the defensive coordinator prank called Shedeur Sanders and maybe some others who were also prank calls, Abdul Carter and others. He himself, Jeff Ulbrich, was fined $100,000. He makes $1.6 million as a coordinator last year. So about 5% of his salary, 6% of his salary in a single fine. If I were his, oh man, that's a tough headline to read if you're the kid.
I don't know. There's a few out there maybe. You can cost your company, no matter how much it's worth, you can cost your company $250,000 and keep your job. I mean, that tells you it's just a different world in the NFL.
How long does he get to keep it, though? You better be a damn good defensive coordinator today.
Better be top 5 defense or something in football next year in Atlanta. They spent 2 first-round picks on edge rushers, and they just ate a $250,000 fine for you. You better have a hell of a year coaching that defense.
Mm-hmm. I better be impressed.
I saw our guy Aaron Ladd posted he retweeted they've been fined, the Falcons have, for this, tampering with Kirk Cousins. They also lost
the sound.
The sound pumping in. They lost $350K. They've lost like $1 million collectively.
What the hell's Arthur Blank doing over there? Run a tighter ship, my guy.
Yeah, he's Arthur Blank, just money, just a few bucks for him. Just chump of change.
He's not poor, Just saying he can run a tighter ship.
So could be just a
he's
chump
down
of change
like
for you too, Gold. With the
say that again.
I said you could be in the same situation here potentially if you keep on
fine could have been nothing
high.
to you.
Yeah.
Turn 20K into 500K just like that,
Could you imagine if we had fines in this business? We did for a while, the Justin Ross thing. You had to put money in the jar if you mentioned Justin Ross for a little while.
Yep.
That's about the closest we've gotten. Who's going to be the new player on that list?
Or it might just be a hypothetical one.
We'll
where
see.
Cody, you and I might be losing money. We're going to have to keep our mouth shut in regards to hypotheticals.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
Well, that's what I'm
directly.
saying. No.
You're the only one on the show, I think.
Well, we were guilty of it in one show because I was asking about throwing 80.
The both of us.
In fairness, again, I wasn't claiming I could throw 80 in that case. I was asking if you
Cody
thought
and I were pretty bad a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Lastly, don't forget
the
Cody Gold road trip Saturday, May 3rd. 965thefan.com. Over 200 of us going. If you'd like tickets, $10 at 965thefan.com. All brought to you by The Art of Sports.
All right, don't forget, it is the lunch hour. You're thinking, what should I do for lunch today? It's a Wednesday. The weather, you look outside, still looks kind of crappy.
I would like, is the sun still exist?
So you might as well go and get some lunch, though, maybe, and have a good lunch with our friends over at Jefferson's. Each and every Wednesday, they're a lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. They have a new happy hour as well that's here to save you money. 7 days a week, you can enjoy half off appetizers and half off your bar tab, whether it's Jefferson's in Lenexa, Jefferson's in North Kansas City. Not to mention on Mondays, they have all-day happy hour, right? They have the same great deals during their reverse happy hour 7 days a week. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters.
Great spot to go watch, some NBA action tonight, like you said, if you want to check out that, or just grab lunch now, as we previously mentioned. Lunch at lunchtime does make a lot of sense.
So we're going to get to Noah Cameron in just a bit here, and he's going to make his debut, as we said, during What's Trending as the Royals take on the Tampa Bay Rays. But when you think about what Cole Reagan's status is, let's start there and get to Cameron. The fact that he's not on IL, and we're going to ask Vern about this in 25 minutes or so, tells you they think maybe he just needs to skip a start here and recover.
I think so.
There's also still a scenario where by the time the next start comes around, then
if they're still winning,
do you be more patient, or do you think this is Noah Cameron pitches tonight, even if he pitches well, he's one and done kind of thing?
I think most likely this means that Noah Cameron's up and then back down.
Yeah.
And look, here's his problem is that it's a tough rotation to crack right now. Who exactly isn't holding up their end of the bargain? Michael Lorenzen last night shoved for 6 innings of 1-run ball last night. He was coming off a pretty good start before that. So I don't take this as I'm not overly scared. I'd be more worried about it, and I'm obviously hoping, I think they should take their time with it, with Reagan's, because I'm assuming that's part of the reason he's had a little bit of wild command, is that this groin issue maybe had been bothering him before. It eventually came to a head where they wanted to skip a start and give it a little bit of rest. Now he's got another 4 or 5 days to recover. You leave Cameron on, let him get paid a week like a big leaguer, and then make your decision as you get closer to it. I think that's probably the best decision towards the end. My guess is that Reagan's makes the next start because he's not going to want to miss a lot of time in the bigs. But yeah, for Noah Cameron, he could go out there tonight, and we can talk more about the Royals in a second, but he could go out there tonight and throw 7 scoreless. Right now, this is the rotation. Seth Lugo, who has made 6 starts and has a 3.08 ERA. Chris Bubich, who's made 6 starts, has a 2.25 ERA. Lorenzen has a 3.48 ERA in 6 starts. Walker with a 3.38 ERA in 6 starts. Cole Reagan's is technically their worst starter. At 6 starts and a 4.4 ERA, because he's had a little bit of command trouble here as of late, I'm assuming related to the injury. We all know that Cole Reagan's is their most talented starter. We're not even, I don't think anybody's even here arguing that. And they've got everybody pitching better than him. Yeah, pretty good sign the bullpen's okay.
I don't want to read too much into. I don't want to read too much into one start. I'm saying that today before we even know the results, right? Like, so if he bombs tonight, or if he goes and pitches 6 innings of 1-run baseball, it's one outing.
Yeah, I mentioned Jimmy Gobble yesterday for a reason.
I was trying to think who's the last starting pitcher, prospect wise, not vet, to make their debut for the Royals. Who prior to him? Who would that have been prior to Noah Cameron tonight? Was it Jonathan?
Who's the last starter?
Yeah, was it like Jonathan Heasley?
Bolin?
Or Bolin, yeah. I'm just trying to think how some recent debuts have gone. Obviously, multiple years ago, Daniel Lynch, but I was just trying to see like how often, remember, what's the track record of these debuts for these guys?
Now it's been too long. I don't even remember how Brady Singer's debut went. Like I don't know.
I want to say Heasley or Bolin were the 2 most recent prior to this. Or because as far as not just Royals debut, but I'm talking MLB debuts.
And as a starter, not like they came,
starter, not a bullpen
not as they
guy.
came into the relief.
Oh, Alec Marsh.
That's probably like
Buddy texted me.
Yeah. That's
exactly right.
That's probably a good answer. But the good or bad, and we'll talk about his start tomorrow. Certainly, we'll do that. But it's like the good or bad's not going to change it. The problem is, he could throw a no-hitter tonight. I don't think he can get in the rotation.
Yeah.
Like, the rotation is the bread and butter of this team right now. And what you should feel good about is that if Noah Cameron can come up, and for the times they ask him to start, this won't be the last time they need a 5th starter. This won't be the last time somebody needs to miss a start, skip around, move. You got to be available every time they call your name if you want to be a part of, let's say, the playoff rotation. You want to be the guy that they call you up, and they don't normally do that with rookies. You want to be a part of this rotation next year. You got to make sure they do this. Is it weird that I feel bad for him? This is the smallest thing, and I bet he doesn't even care because he's making his major league debut. And for those who don't know, he's from St. Joseph, Missouri. Yeah. He grew up a Royals fan, I believe is what they said on the broadcast last night. So this is a true dream come true. He's getting to go to the big leagues for the team he grew up cheering for. Is it weird that he got called up from AAA and his major league debut has to be in a AAA stadium? I feel kind of bad he doesn't get to do it in a big league stadium.
Yeah, I guess.
He's got to go do it at George Steinbrenner Field. Is that a stupid thing to care about for somebody else? I feel kind of bad.
Doesn't care like that, but I think he's a little bit not underwhelmed. I guess it is underwhelming. I don't know if he cares. Because you want to be out there with the stand, the building's bigger, everything is bigger about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't feel that way.
When you're making, and again, he'll get another chance, but let's just say he makes this start, Cole Reagans is back the next time. When's his next chance? His next chance to start in the big leagues might be months from now, and he had to do it in a AAA park.
And it's not going to be
pitching in a lot of AAA parks.
It's not going to be with the patch on. It's not going to be the same.
I'm not claiming it's a huge deal. I'm telling you, he's still living his dream tonight. He is from St. Joe, playing for a team he cheered for, pitching in his major league debut. He probably doesn't care it's in a AAA stadium. I care for him.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, but it's a AAA. It's a spring training stadium that is going to be completely. And it already, if you watch the broadcast, that they've added Rays elements to it, right? Like it's there's Rays low. It's clearly a big league game and all that. I understand. It's not like he's having his debut at Yankee Stadium. I totally get that, but in a weird way, it might actually even make him more comfortable tonight.
You think so? Just pitching in the normal, take away the.
in general, I think we're reading into it too much.
But Yankee Stadium.
In general, I think we're reading into it too much. But if I have to give an answer on it, I would say if maybe there's a chance he's even more comfortable.
I don't know that it has an impact on his pitching. I don't think it impacts his does he have a good? I just think it sucks. It sucks to go through all that work, make all these debuts, and this one's unavoidable. This was a hurricane ripped through a stadium. There's nothing they can do. It'd be worse, honestly, if they were playing in that Sacramento park. I'd be like, just because these losers can't get their franchise figured out, I got to pitch at this tiny little ballpark instead of a big league with a batter's eye and make it, I don't know. I just want everyone's big league moment to feel cool. I still, and this is probably the baseball fan in me, I love baseball debuts. I love them getting to I'm in the majors. I love them having that moment. It's so unique. So few people actually get through the system. I was looking today at the Royals AAA numbers because, just for clarity, somebody was talking about the next guy they need to do something with, Massey or Renfroe or Vinny or whatever. And Gold and I are way on the other side of any possibility that Vinny should have any even discussion of being sent down right now, even though we both know he's not hitting. It has nothing to do with that. It's just he's still too valuable to the team from an RBI perspective and where he started the team and where he hits and everything else. But we were looking at AAA numbers, and there's a guy there. I can't remember his name now. There's a guy in AAA right now. He's a 28-year-old shortstop. He's been in the minors his whole life. He's played 3.5 years in AAA. Like, for the guys, like, that guy may never see the bigs. We don't know. Shortstop's a tough position. Wouldn't say that that's real open at the moment. Like, that's, it's a tough, making it through, it means something. So, like, I just wish he got to do it in a big league park.
Yeah, someone says, hey, the worst would have been the COVID season, having your debut and nobody's in the stands. That's a million times worse, and that's a fair point.
Yeah, that was. I'll never forget. I will never forget. That's a weird time of life. No one will forget. Anyway, going to opening day for the Royals that year with 12 people in attendance, all media members or people who worked for the team, and you're just like, this sucks. I don't like it. For the Royals, I will say the offensive numbers, like last night, they're just winning instead of losing. It's no different than what we were watching the first 2 weeks of the season, Gold. They still can't hit. Matt, like right now, the Royals have F-WAR-wise, two of the worst players at their position in all of the big leagues. Right now in F-WAR, Renfroe ranks dead last at right field. Michael Massey ranks dead last at second base. That one's a way bigger surprise to me. Renfroe, who has had a better career, obviously, to this point, we might have just seen the signs of aging and things are coming to a close on him. Massey, I had high expectations for this year. Seemed like he was back at second base and comfortable. The back issues has not been the reason why. He's been, like normally with him, we were just talking injury, not play, and he just hasn't lived up to being the same player so far this year that we're used to. It's a weird mix. Right now, every single one of Bobby's hits in his 20-game hitting streak feel important. Because where else are they getting it? Other than that, they're just praying for the Drew Waters had a big night tonight. Last night, it was Freddie Fermin. Didn't Freddie Fermin have 3 hits last night? There's banking on a different player every day, Gold, to show up and have a day versus they need Vinny to hit. They need Massey to hit. Like Renfroe to a lower degree. They need the guys who hit. Jonathan India needs to hit better. Like they need those 3 guys, and it's the same thing we're saying, except for now they're winning. So like now I feel even less pressure. Like before I felt pressure, like they need to do some of the MJ because they were losing. Now they're winning. Now at least I can like live my life. They've won 7 of 8. I don't know, that's bad. Someone's saying I can use Lola Young's song Messy for Massey instead. That's a really good song. I don't think I can. Have you heard that song?
Maybe. I'm bad with song names. You guys know this.
Really, really, really good song. Her album's great, but it's just, I don't think, she's got a very specific style to her singing that I don't think I can come anywhere close to mimicking.
But you think you were able to mimic others?
No.
Yes,
I just better. Yes. It just varies in degree, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do like that song, though, so maybe. Someone says from the 913, I agree with all this, but at least Michael has stepped up. Michael Garcia and Drew Waters
have really
are currently,
because if those guys,
pieces. Yeah, if those guys were hitting at career averages, I mean, this ship be sunk. Like, I mean, they'd be out of offensive options. It'd just be Bobby Witt Jr. getting a couple of hits every game. And at some point, don't you? Like this 20-game hit streak, for it to last, let's say to get to have a chance at 31, which is the Royals record. Vinny better start hitting, because why would you pitch to Bobby Witt Jr. right now? If behind him, Vinny had 2 chances, I think, to get an RBI home from second base last night, something he's usually pretty good at. Oh, no, you know what? Bobby was on first for one of those, and he advanced him to second, so it was a productive out. But he had a couple chances to get guys home last night, didn't do it. He knows that. But in order for Bobby's hit streak to continue, Vinny has to hit. Because at some point, they'll just walk him. I just think they'll stop. Someone asked earlier in the text line, if you intentionally walk him 5 times in a game, does his hit streak continue? The answer is no. You have to hit in the game to get hit streak to continue. Doesn't continue if he misses time. I don't think either, right? If you take a game off. Oh, you know what?
No.
I don't know about the game off thing. I'm not sure about that. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate. What you were saying before.
The walks? I don't think your hit streak continues if you walk 5 times.
No, but like if teams, like it's the unwritten rule thing. Nobody's going to, let's say Bobby's at 40-game hitting streak. They're not going to intentionally walk him 5 times in a game. That's just not happening.
I'm just saying to get to 31.
Yeah.
Then he has to hit, or they'll just start being even more careful with Bobby.
I think Bobby's a hell of a player. I don't think we're at the point in the season where teams are going to start treating him like Barry Bonds and just walk him 4 times a game. I don't believe that's happening.
From the 913, can Lofton play second base or right field? He's tearing it up at AAA. He's an option, but I will tell you, they had a choice on him today, and they sent him back down to AAA and reinstated Tyler Tolbert off of the bereavement list. I'm not saying that that's the end-all, be-all, but they had a decision on that today, and they decided Tolbert instead, and that they're going to stick with their plan with Massey and Renfroe for the time being. Because that would have been a good time to make a move if they wanted to.
Yeah, see, this is where I don't have. We'll have to ask Vern. This text. This is when we were talking about.
I don't know. I have to look it up. I'm not sure. I guess I thought
at bats die. Just same reason why when we talk about like when we're betting total bases and stuff like that, you don't get credit for walks on that. I think if you are intentionally walked, those do not count as hitting
game. It's a 30-game hitting streak. You played the game, you didn't get a hit. I would think that it dies. I don't actually know the rule on it. I guess that was just a maybe wild assumption by me.
Yeah, I don't think that's because I don't believe that's the case. Okay. You don't. It doesn't count. Like if you
you don't have an official
go look at a box score from the other, like another night where somebody walks. Somebody else on the team might have, somebody else might get credited with 5 at bats. Somebody else might not have the same.
But he played in the game. Like I understand your argument for he technically didn't have an at bat, but he played in the game.
But it's hits but it's based off. It's not based off if if Bobby Wood Jr. got walked his first time up and then for some reason got hurt. I don't know if that's different. But I don't know. We can ask Vern. He knows more on the nerdy stuff than I would on this. But I don't know if you get intentionally walked 4 times in a game. I don't believe those are at bats. Therefore, the hitting streak continues.
I would think it dies.
I don't know.
It is not an at bat. It is a plate appearance, and this is like the nerdy baseball nonsense that exists. It is a plate appearance, but because it is not a.
I'm not sure.
It's not a verified. They don't keep a verified MLB stat of hitting streaks, right? I don't know if they have rules around it.
I don't know.
I guess is the question.
I'm someone else that is pretty well versed. If he plays, it doesn't matter.
That's my thought. If he plays it,
if he plays, it just doesn't matter.
He stepped to the plate. It's not like he didn't get a single in 5 plate apperances, not at bats technically in that case. I still think he played.
Now, to your concern,
I'll be honest,
to your concern, again, I don't buy into the fact that he's just going to get intentionally walked 4 times a game and the streak's going to end. I just he's great. He's also not Aaron Judge hitting 50 home runs a year. They're not going to treat him like Barry Bonds. Now he's getting pitched very difficult, very very tough, and it's making it difficult. But I do not believe that we're just going to start seeing teams intentionally walk Bobby Wood Jr. during the streak now.
Oh, someone's putting up the MLB rules.
Yeah. Now text line is so split on this.
Dude, I don't know.
The old text line split.
We'll have to ask Vern.
Walks don't count as an at bat, but again, that's what we're trying to figure out.
That's not does he have to have an at bat for a hit streak to die?
Yeah,
he played in the game.
The way that makes the most sense though is if he's intentionally walked, he's not even getting a pitch to hit. They're just sending him to first base. That shouldn't count. Right. Where if he's getting walked in 6 pitches,
this is where it
he
helps.
has a shot.
Here's MLB 9.23. A consecutive hitting streak shall not be terminated if a batter's plate appearance results in a base on balls, hit batsman, defensive interference, or obstruction, or a sacrifice bunt. A sacrifice fly would terminate the streak. A consecutive game hitting streak shall not be terminated if all the batter's plate appearances, 1 or more, in a game result in a base on balls, hit batsman, defensive interference, obstruction. Same. The streak shall terminate if the player hits a sac fly or has no hit. A player's individual consecutive game hitting streak shall be determined in consecutive games the player appears and is determined by his club's games. So I guess not. He can intentionally walk 5 times and the streak continues.
Wait, so you're allowed to sack bunt, but you can't sack fly? If you want to move a guy to
look, man, I don't know what to tell you.
Move a guy from first
I'm
to
more
second,
confused now than I was 30 seconds
ago. This game's 4 billion years old, and they just make up stuff. Round ball, round stick, doing nonsense.
You can sacrifice bunt where a guy does not score a run, but you can hit a sack fly where a guy does score a run, and it hurts you.
And the hit streak dies, yes.
But if you sack bunt to get a guy from first to second.
Bobby can sack bunt 5 times tonight. His hit streak can go to the next day if he's just not feeling it against the starter,
All right.
Okay.
But again, he would have had to not gone 0 for 1 before.
Sure,
he have to do 5 sack bunts or 5 walks and a sack bunt.
That would conceivably be hilarious if he actually laid down 5 sack bunts in a game. I don't care.
Bobby's
about this guy,
the last person I want laying down a sacrifice to.
Agreed.
To me, it does make if we're being again, baseball doesn't always make sense, but it makes sense in theory. If you did tell me, hey, if I get walked 5 times in a game, my hitting streak should not end. I agree with that fundamentally. It sounds like that actually is how the rule is. Okay, all right. Glad we got through that together. I'm glad we talked that out together.
I mean, honestly, I had to look up the MLB rule. I had to go
if
straight
we're
to
interpreting that correct, that last sentence you read confused me.
Well, hang on.
In such player appears and is not determined by his club's games. I don't know what that part means, but the rest of it makes sense.
So a walk doesn't count towards it. A hit by pitch doesn't count towards it. Because somebody brings up an interesting
point. He can
point.
be hit 5 times and the streak lives.
Not that they would do this, but somebody said if he's a day away from breaking DiMaggio's record, and let's say they're playing the Yankees, and they're like, you're not breaking this guy's record on our watch, then theoretically, they no matter if they hit him 4 times or if they walked him 4 times, it wouldn't actually prohibit him from breaking the record. That would be nice.
I mean, they are just... All right. Let's ask Vern. Can we still ask Vern at 12:30 and just see if he thinks it interprets it the same way we do?
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to look at DiMaggio's hitting streak and what happened during his streak.
I'm guessing
they probably didn't care. I mean, what was the record before DiMaggio? Obviously it doesn't matter, but
no, I'm just saying, this doesn't answer our question. In his streak, he walked 21 times during the streak. Oh, that doesn't matter. I don't know. All right, as we're talking this one out together,
it's
a fascinating thing.
I hope
we
it
are
comes
a long
up
ways away from it mattering, but
because if this happened in game 44,
yeah,
he walked 5 times, and the people would be like, "It's not real. DiMaggio never walked," and you're like, "It's not his fault. What? They didn't give him anything to hit, so he walked."
Yeah, I bet you Vern has the answer.
Probably.
We're going to talk to Vern next about that. We're going to talk to him about where this offense is at and what he makes of the decision to call up Noah Cameron tonight.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if erectile dysfunction is making a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and the one you love. At Heartland Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health
This postseason, BetMGM, authorized gaming operator of the NBA, is making first field goal scorer wagers more exciting with Second Chance. What's Second Chance? Ever bet on your favorite baller to score the first field goal, only to see him dish the rock to his teammate for the easy layup? Well, with BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back in cash if your first field goal scorer scores second instead. That's right, simply bet on any player to score the first field goal during any playoff game. If you're right, you win, but if your pick scores second instead of first, you get your stake back in cash. Keep the hoop dreams alive this NBA playoffs, even if your bet misses. Grab the chance at getting your stake back at BetMGM, authorized gaming operator of the NBA. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Human trafficking is occurring right here in Missouri. You can help combat it by learning the signs of human trafficking and reporting suspicious activity to law enforcement. Victims may appear malnourished, show signs of mental or physical abuse, or avoid social interaction. If you're a victim or know someone who needs help, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text the word HELP to Be Free. Together, we can fight human trafficking in Missouri.
Brought to you by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. RexSpice KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
It's almost Andy Reid. The off-season is a perfect time for a $100 tune-up from Renner Garage Door. Get a free replacement quote today. Call or click rennerdoor.com. Renner forward and back.
RENNER. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you right in the middle of the lunch hour. And on Wednesdays, our lunch partner is our friends over at Jefferson's. They got a brand new happy hour that's here to save you some money. 7 days a week, you can enjoy half off appetizers and half off your bar tab, whether it's Jefferson's North Kansas City or Jefferson's Lenexa. Whether you're coming out to watch the game, looking for a good place to meet up with family and friends, Jefferson's in Lenexa and North Kansas City, the place to be, a restaurant that is proudly local. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters. Let's keep talking some Royals baseball with our Royals insider, Josh Verner. He joins us each and every Wednesday. He's got his On Deck show coming your way tonight at 5 o'clock as the Royals continue their series against the Tampa Bay Rays. We'll get to Noah Cameron's debut in a second, Vern, but we were having a very nerdy conversation in the last segment about hitting
classic
streaks
baseball stuff
and walks. And if you go and walk 4 times in a game, is the hitting streak over or not? You, I think, are the perfect person to ask.
Well, I went and found the same passage that Cody read on the air, so the answer appears to be if you never make an attempt at getting a hit, your hitting streak can continue.
Makes sense.
If they hit you 5 times, if you walk 5 times, if you lay down 5 sacrifice bunts, But a sac fly, you're trying to get a hit, right? You're putting the ball in play in an attempt to get a hit. So that would kill the hitting streak. But, yeah, I'll be very surprised if Bobby is plunked 5 times tonight or issued 4 free passes.
I mean, it would be kind of crazy, but, like, I guess
you know what? Even if they try, Cody, the way that Bob's hitting right now, if you look at this 20-game hitting streak, it's not as if they're all in the strike zone. He's hit a few off his shoe tops. It's obviously impressive, and you throw into that speed, man, you can try and work around Bobby Witt Jr., and he'll still find a way of extending that hitting streak.
One of the guys we think has to hit better in order for the hitting streak to continue, obviously, is Vinny Pasquantino. For anybody, Vern, who might be like, hey, by this time next week or 2 weeks from now, what are they going to, the similar they sent down MJ? I've pointed out the RBI, the fact that he hits third, the left-handed stuff, and track record being stronger points the other way. What are you seeing from Vinny? Is he still suffering from the injury he had at the beginning part and he's never got his timing back? What do we think is wrong with Vinny, I guess?
Well, I don't believe it's the injury. Like, I don't think he's still bothered or hampered by any sort of injury, because if he was, the team needs to, give him some time. And obviously they're not doing that, keeping him in the lineup every single day. Yeah, I mean, we've all talked and heard about his admission that he was chasing more bat speed, and that to me is a little bit too easy. It's never that simple in a game that is in the gray area. It's never black and white. So, sure, bat speed I'm sure has something to do with it, or his quest for additional bat speed, but there's also expectations on Vinny this season and the team that have never been there in his career, in his life before. The offense is struggling. He knows he's a key cog, and he knows this offense will never get out of the basement of Major League Baseball's offensive statistics until he turns it around. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we're nowhere close to Vinny being sent down to the minor leagues, because, listen, you want Mark Hanna to hit in the cleanup spot a little bit more often? Okay. Yeah, you want to drop Vinny in the lineup? Fine. Okay, I'm not going to fight you on that. But there is no replacing Vinny. Now, you could say, hey, but there's no replacing MJ Melendez and that type of power, at least the power potential that he brings, and the team made the decision to option him. Sure. MJ wasn't a key cog last year. He wasn't a guy that ran into 20 home runs and nearly 100 RBI. He wasn't a guy that you had in pen as your number 3 hitter for the duration of this 2025 campaign. There's no replacing Vinny Pasquantino, just like there's no replacing the power potential that MJ Melendez brought. You've already made that concession. This organization isn't deep enough to continue making offensive concessions. You need 2 of the big 3 at the top to get going. You need India, Vinny, Massey. I don't care which 2, but 2 of them got to get going, or else this team's always going to be near the bottom of every offensive category.
I think sometimes we have this mindset that it's fantasy football or fantasy baseball, and you're like 2 weeks into the season, and you get rid of 5 guys on your roster and go to the waiver wire, and like they're in a month in the season, they're not going to get rid of their opening day left fielder, right fielder, second baseman, and number 3 hitter. I mean, what world are we living in?
Yeah, also, if 2 of those 3 don't get going, we're not seeing Jack Caglione either.
Right.
Because if 2 of those 3 don't get going, eventually a slight regression from this rotation, not even a massive, just a slight regression, is going to lead to an elongated losing streak, and it's going to hurt this team, knock them well below 500, and might eliminate the opportunity for Jack Caglione to help this team make a playoff push. Again, for as great as the rotation has been, for as much as trust and a camaraderie has been built in that clubhouse, with the way that the rotation has picked up the offense, the way that a guy like Vinny and Jonathan India continue to lead with positive body language, for all the good things that have happened, if 2 of those 3 bats don't pick it up, and relatively soon, the good vibes that we are searching for, that we feel at times with this team, will be eliminated.
Do you agree with us, though? Like, I guess the way I view this, and this is what Alex and I talked about yesterday, the stat you gave actually made us feel this way even more. The fact that the only 2 offenses that are as bad as the Royals are the White Sox and the Rockies, and they're combined, 100 games under 500. Somehow they're the 2 worst teams in the league at this rate. The fact that the Royals are 500 to me, I take that they're a good baseball team. This is a good baseball team. It is whether or not they can hit now, but I view that as it would have buried you already being that bad offensively.
Without question, yeah. And last night, Michael Lorenzen, puts together his third quality start. The only Royal with more is the number 4 starter. One of my big concerns coming into the season was, for as great as Reagans and Lugo and Waka were last year, and for as much as this team needs them to duplicate it, can you get a duplication of the number 4 and 5 starters that we saw in the first half of last season with Brady Singer and Alec Marsh? And so far, it's been even better with Chris Bubich and Michael Lorenzen. We could talk about the defensive improvements here and there. We can talk about the bullpen and the guys like Angel Zerpa stepping up, what you've seen from Steven Cruz, right? There are plenty of reasons to say exactly what you said, Cody. This is a good baseball team, and with 80% of the season still ahead for this squad, I refuse to believe that Vinny Pasquantino is going to be this bad. I refuse to believe that Jonathan India is going to be below average the way that he has this season. Michael Massey, do I believe he's the second worst everyday player in the American League? No, I don't, but he does look lost at the dish right now, especially in the big spots. For hitting in the 5 spot almost regularly, the guy's 1 for his last 14 with runners in scoring position. He alone isn't killing the offense, but he coupled with Vinny and Jonathan India, your 1, 3, and 5 hitters, man, it's tough to string anything together right now.
We're talking to Josh Vern, Royals insider. All right, so Noah Cameron makes his MLB debut tonight on the mound. I think it was towards the end of last season we started to hear his name mentioned more. You were there in spring training, so you watched him pitch. What are the Royals maybe getting out of this player? I don't want to say necessarily with his performance tonight, and that everybody should judge him just off of tonight, but what kind of pitcher is he, and should fans be excited about this?
For making his big league debut, he's not going to strike you as a kid. Now, maybe he doesn't feel his legs in the first inning. Maybe he does. Maybe being in that ballpark in Tampa actually calms his nerves somewhat. As it's going to be a capacity crowd, but what's that? 10,000 people down there. But he's built like a man. Carries himself like a professional. Right? There's no timidity when it comes to Noah Cameron walking there, walking out on the bump. If I had to compare him to anybody, I guess Chris Bubich is the obvious comparison. He's not going to blow you away with velocity. It's low 90s, but he has a 4-5 pitch mix, and he can command all 4-5 pitches to all 4 quadrants. That's when Chris Bubich is going right, he's keeping the hitters off balance. He's keeping them guessing. He's changing speeds and hitting all different locations in the strike zone. That's the plan of attack for Noah Cameron. Aggressive in the zone, keeping hitters off balance, confident, great body language out there on the mound. And, yeah, he's ready for this moment. Again, beyond his years as far as a maturation as a professional. Now, as I say all of that, the big leagues is it's a different beast. I have high expectations. I'm excited to see what he can bring. And I'm not surprised, certainly. I think we've talked about it. I'm not surprised that he's the first one getting the call from the minor leagues to replace somebody in this rotation, especially with the slight setbacks for Alec Marsh and the delayed start for Kyle Wright.
I don't remember the exact time on it, Vern. I think he might have been drafted by Dayton Moore, but is it weird that I kind of view 21. Him as I view him as a little bit, he was drafted by Moore, but I view him a little bit as the first guy to come through the pitching system that J.J. developed. Is that a bad way to look at it? Because a lot of these other guys
Bubich
were like,
might be that.
Okay.
And not even that J.J. developed, that this new pitching department helped develop. The Brian Sweeney, Zach Bove. Bubich is actually the guy that first encouraged me that, okay, things might be different now in Kansas City. But as far as a young, Alec Marsh, I think, also fits that billing, right? Marsh, how many years did we wait for him to figure it all out? The strikeout numbers would be great, but then he's given up bombs left and right. Brian Sweeney, Zach Bove, Paul Gibson, they, start working together, and you've seen a much better Alec Marsh. But as far as someone that was not even on the radar, maybe when JJ and Brian Sweeney all started working together, yeah, I think you can point to Noah Cameron. And, another reason for excitement is the confidence that this coaching staff instills in a Bubic, in a Marsh, and in a Noah Cameron. Instead of telling them what they shouldn't do and what they're doing poorly, it's encouraging them, surrounding them with positivity about what they already do well. And yeah, I'm excited. I have, I don't want to say high expectations for Noah Cameron because he's likely to be optioned right back to Omaha after this game tonight. I'm excited for him and what kind of launching pad this could be, right? Go back down to Omaha, take everything that you've learned, and when you're called upon again, hopefully you're in the rotation to stay.
Vern, if you missed it early in the show, Alex had the card pull of a lifetime in getting a one-of-one Caitlin Clark. We've been trying to spend his money today.
Wow.
How would you like to see Alex spend his money? We're talking 10,
put it on
20K.
black. I don't know. Yeah, run it back. Try to double it.
Jeez, I knew Vern would
I
say
said
that.
buy a house. I was actually responsible.
Wait, hang on. I don't understand that.
Not that amount. I just said like a down payment on a house and stop paying rent.
Yeah, the house thing is a bit crazy, I think. But no, it's a one-of-one Caitlin Clark gold vinyl. I'm sending it to an auction. If it grades well, Vern, it could be 20 to 25. Otherwise, it's probably 10.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. It was the biggest freaking card ever that I've pulled.
Well, then put it in a high-yield savings account. How about that?
Well, that sounded like an adult, Vern. Sounded like a true adult.
Some of it, some of it will go to the
what's
IRA.
going on in the world, man. Take care of that money. Make sure you're set up for whatever could happen.
There you go. Sound advice from Josh Vern. You're our Royals insider. Appreciate it, man. There you go.
All right, thank you.
That's
Way to go. Holy crap.
Yeah, man.
How are you even on the radio right now, man? I've been running through the streets with no pants on
It happened Friday night. We just haven't brought it up in the air. I didn't sleep Friday night, okay? I didn't sleep Friday night because of that.
Right. I just stare at it.
Now all of June, we'll be watching what Jack Caglianone's doing in AAA by then and what Gold's Card's doing at auction.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? If you want to cut out a middleman, I mean, Bobby has a lot of money and he loves cards.
I
You
know.
want to sell it to someone real quick. Cags has some cash.
I got a
too.
cash.
While
I got
you're
a
in
cash
Springfield,
offer.
Show it to him.
I did get a cash offer already, but it was a pretty low ball offer of $7,000. So I think it's gonna go to an auction site that's got a good history with this stuff.
10 grand from Cags, and he comes on Cody and Gold whenever you guys ask.
Just anytime we ask.
Yeah. It'll be a
And I
little
want
bit.
your uniform.
You hold all the cards right now, Gold. You hold
That's
all
right.
the cards, no pun intended.
There you go. Of course. There you go. Josh Vern, our Royals Insiders on deck show tonight, 5 o'clock, as the Royals get set to take on the Rays. I think what happened is Vern hadn't heard the story, and then you said.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought maybe
he said
he's usually pretty in tune to the show. He didn't know.
He heard you say, like, oh, he's going to buy a house. He's like, wait, how much? How much is this card?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened there.
If you missed that earlier, we talked about in the 11 o'clock
Go to
hour.
our Twitter account, @AlexGold. For those that are into sports cards and stuff, you'll probably understand a little bit more. But basically, was in a card break over the weekend, pulled a Caitlin Clark rookie card gold vinyl, one of one, as in it's the only one of that type.
card,
Yep, one of one. And if it grades well, right, you send it to a grader. If it's a perfect card, that's called a 10. If it's a 10 in auction, that auction house believes it could go for 20 to 25. Otherwise, we're probably talking 10 to 12-ish, give or take.
I mean, what a sad existence.
I know, it's terrible if it's only a 10 or 12.
It's funny how quickly your opinions change, you know?
If you would have told me a week ago I was turning down $7,000 for a card, you would have been like, what the hell are you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What do you mean you're turning down $7,000?
Yeah,
That's because it's a low offer. It's a low offer. All right.
Get his value, you know?
Let's get to the random question.
Random question.
I had trash a day earlier. Did you say
stealing
you're
I'm
commandeering?
stealing your random question. You stole my trash of the day. I'm gonna steal the random question. This unrelated to anything we've talked about, obviously. Would you take off work if you theoretically had $10,000 to $20,000 showing up at your door and you had to be there for it?
I mean, sure, I take off work for all kinds of reasons. I mean, don't ask somebody else. Don't ask me.
Theoretically,
I don't think there's any bad reason to take off of work. You don't want to work, don't work. Like you're allowed, as long as you got the days and you're not leaving everybody high and dry. In this case, you would not be. I can work on Friday or Thursday or next month, depending on when a high-valued thing might come.
A high-valued thing might have to be signed for, you know?
Yeah, I think in that case.
And if you don't sign
honestly,
for it, then...
it would depend on the value.
Yeah.
I would say the answer is dependent on the value. If we're talking $500, I don't know.
Of course not.
You know, different
But if
case. We're talking 10 to 20K. Yeah.
And if you don't sign
for it.
for it that day and you're not there, then it sits all weekend in a post office and who knows with the USPS, or wherever it's coming from.
Yeah, in that case, I'd probably skip work.
Would you?
Yeah. In that case, I'd probably skip
Just asking out of curiosity, that's all.
just hypothetically, this doesn't feel related to you at all, huh?
No, it's not. It's unrelated completely.
So you're thinking about taking a day off of work?
The boss has no clue.
Well, he knows now if he's listening.
I haven't talked to him yet about it.
In fairness, he's got a pretty
In fairness, what happened
as
is
a good boss does, he's got a pretty lax policy on the when I tell you I have to be off, he doesn't really fight it unless there's like a real reason to not have me be off.
Yeah, basically what happened. We don't have to get into the details of it, but it was supposed to be here before Friday, and it's not, and so it screwed some things up. That's all. Yeah.
Someone says I might have taken the rest of the week off. I mean, not the week, but yeah, Friday would have been. What would you have done if this was like a Wednesday poll and you had to come to work the next day?
Oh, I would have been fine. I would have been even more amped. I've had multiple days to process this now, so I'm calmer. But it was the first night or two. I definitely
I'll just say I'm not going to risk it. I'm not risking any portion of that process. Because you want to get further in the process. So if it's I got to be off of work to ensure that that's the case, well then I got to be off work to ensure that that's the case.
My answer is 1,000% needs to happen. I'm just putting it out there in case there's anybody that's curious.
I'd love to just give you a hard time and be like, no, get your ass to work. Nobody on the Texans going to buy that from me. Let's just no one on the Texans going to buy it from me. The person who was once late for this show to be on a blimp.
That's true.
I've missed portions of this show. That's for all kinds of reasons, way less legitimate ones.
Yeah.
And I'm not, again, you can just take off time because you don't feel like it. But I've missed portions of this show or the entirety of this show for all kinds of crazy ass reasons.
That's very true.
It'd be rich coming from me. What do you think, Drew? You think that's a reasonable reason to take a day off?
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't know if anybody would argue against that. If you knew you had 10 to 20K
showing up to your door.
I mean, let's just say it was cash instead, because it might as well be.
Yeah.
It's a single piece of paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's worth that much, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like somebody's just going to deliver a $10,000 bill to your. Yeah, I'd want to be there for the. I don't even like it when it's something that I've been kind of, not even that expensive, but something you've just been kind of waiting for. You're like, I got to sign for it. I was mad 2 weeks ago. Not kidding. I almost had to miss work because my daughter's medication was out. And it has to be signed for or they won't deliver to it. And she was already out. She was out for a week. And I'm like, it was signature only. And I'm like, I'm just going to take off work for these pills. I don't know what else to do.
That's hell of a sentence.
I should.
Well
that's
done.
going to get cut. Oops.
Yes, it will.
I'm just going to have to take off time for that. So and that cost me $17 or something with my insurance. But I wanted the thing. I need the thing. Therefore, I don't think it is.
I'm 100% with you. I just
you gotta unless you had someone unless you had a nephew out of school in summer or something. You don't have your nephews aren't old enough for that. Yeah. But let's say I had a 15-year-old who could sit and kick it, or Kramer could go to your house or something.
Sure,
fine. But unless you got a body, I'd say no.
Yeah,
and a trusted. I'm
waiting to see, but there's a chance that might have to happen.
I'm just going to take off work for these pills.
That is the random question of the day, unless you have a real one.
No, well, I had one, but now I don't want to get into a random question now.
Save it for tomorrow.
Unless you guys
saved my trash of the day from earlier.
Did you guys see the most recent update on Bill Belichick and his female companion?
No, what's the latest?
Is that what we're calling her at this point?
Out at The Athletic. We're talking all about this. We said she was going to release a statement about how weird that CBS interview was. Well, now there's a brand new article up at The Athletic that says Bill Belichick was slated to do Hard Knocks, as we all know, as part of the NFL. It was not the NFL owners who put the stop to it. It was Jordan. Bill Belichick's current girlfriend was reportedly at odds with some of the stuff that might be shown and was a major driving force for how this thing ended up getting canceled through this. So now she's canceling TV deals? This is crazy.
There's got to be something out there that we're not supposed to know.
I mean, he called her a creative muse. He obviously has put her in charge of some business stuff. She is in charge of some business stuff. I'd say keep her off the checking account, Bill, but she is in charge of some business decisions.
He trusts her, and she's,
Are we sure?
She's got ultimate control of him, clearly.
I'm at the point now in this where are we sure Bill thinks that she's his creative muse, or is she telling him to say this on national television?
Oh, I think he's definitely blinded by things.
She has him wrapped around her finger.
Yeah.
Somebody said, if Bill Belichick can get whipped, what luck is there for me? I said, none, my guy. Bill's been one of the most powerful people in football for the last 30 years. Just, accept. It's but she's killing major TV deals, They'd be great. And apparently the university also was like,
now, I will say, though,
like how some of that went down and
have
stuff,
some
but still.
questions.
Belichick has never liked the media, though, that much anyway. So, like, the idea that she would not want to do it, like, if you told me Bill Belichick nixed it, we'd all be like, sure, of course. So is she just taking, like, the brunt of it for him, essentially?
Yeah, but Bill's going on CBS Sunday morning to answer questions about a book.
Right.
I don't know if that...
I mean, he didn't have to write a book.
That's the whole thing. Like,
he didn't have to write the book.
This goes back to when he was in the NFL. One of the things that came out of this story, and what came out of the Pro Football Talk story yesterday was talking about this, that is complete nonsense. Like, well, she released an email, and in the email, Bill is bitching and moaning about having to do, like, the things the media will say about this book and not wanting to do the president. Well, don't write a book. You got tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions. Don't promote the book. You can just write it and say you wrote it and give it to your friends and never make a sin off it. Doesn't matter. You don't have to do any of this. It is voluntary. You're 70 years old and worth $50 million. You don't have to work. So, like, the book thing, it's like you don't get to complain about how the media treats you in an interview for an interview you decidedly do not have to do. That goes back to, we said this before, like, sometimes as a media end, we get annoyed because, like, people will be impossible to work with when they're athletes. And then they get on ESPN and they're just, all part of the machine, you know? Happy to be a part of the rest of the media.
Someone just says, Bill's just living his best life. Who knows how many more years he's got?
I don't
Let him
know,
enjoy
man.
it. That's the text line, at least.
He's not enjoying. He's mad about doing CBS
7965.
interviews. He should be enjoying. He should be on the beach doing airplanes.
I'm convinced that his life is really his life with whatever her name is not what it is cut out to be. Jordan, yes. I think he's.
I think he's actually very happy.
I don't have any idea. I think he's putting on a face. I think he
then
is.
he can get rid of her. I'm not gonna like I said. He doesn't have. Nobody's forcing him to be in a relationship. I just don't buy that. Like he's in a relationship and he feels like he can't get out. What?
I don't know.
He just break up with her. Be done.
For him to
he was with his last girlfriend for 15 years and he just left her.
For him,
so it's not like
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that.
Him and his wife got divorced in the early 2000s.
For him to be asked a question about simply where do they meet and she jumped back. It wasn't like a pause. He didn't look over for her for any sort of attention. He was about to say something he shouldn't have, and she stopped him and before he did. That's the way that it looked to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
A lot of rumors out there.
If you're also one of these players.
A lot of rumors out there.
You want to go down a rabbit hole, feel free.
Yeah, that might be my problem. That might be the problem with me is I took an extra 10 minutes out of my day.
Not kidding. Like a minute ago, he just released a statement.
Okay.
So let's take a break and then we can get back to it on the other side.
Let's read that statement. We'll also talk about developing at one position in 2025 for the Chiefs.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance, like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ring the bell! We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 5/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-source single line activation on qualifying plan. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
For over 8 years, QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain, with over 50,000 satisfied patients. People with knee and back pain now living pain-free. Shoulder and hip pain gone. What they're doing is nothing short of remarkable. They're using regenerative cell therapy to restore the tissue in their achy joints. They're using biologic growth factors with robust healing properties, carefully and strategically placed in your joint. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life. The best part, with QC Kinetics, there are no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. It's an all-natural cellular level option with lasting relief. Imagine doing all the things you enjoy this summer without being slowed down by that awful joint pain in your knees or your back. Call QC Kinetics now and learn about these cutting-edge treatments that can help you live your best life. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. It's QC Kinetics.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6812. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6812. That's 800-575-6812. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, Oysters, located in Lenexa and North Kansas City. Proud lunch partner of Cody and Gold.
Take me out to my TV on FanDuel Sports Network. Yeah, yeah. Royals games
Check out 96.5 The Fan's Instagram page for videos, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes content. Your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2. Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour. It's Cody and Gold. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Wednesday. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get back into the Chiefs' first-round draft pick, Josh Simmons, in just a bit. But we were talking about Bill Belichick and what continues to just be this weird, bizarre story involving him and his girlfriend, also like personal assistant, and the CBS Sunday morning interview he gave, obviously this past Sunday. And you said right before we went to break, there's a new statement out from Bill Belichick on the North Carolina letterhead.
I will say, this is one of the funniest things about Bill Belichick going to college, is that when you are in the NFL, you don't have to release these statements. You can just live your life. Nobody cares. You don't but because of recruiting, Gold, and you know this, because of recruiting, you have to acknowledge everything in college football, including this. Quote, I agreed to speak with CBS Sunday Morning to promote my new book, The Art of Winning, Lessons from My Life in Football. Prior to this interview, I clearly communicated with the publicist at Simon & Schuster that any promotional interviews I participated in would agree to focus solely on the contents of the book. Unfortunately, that expectation was not honored during the interview. I was surprised when unrelated topics were introduced, and I repeatedly expressed to the reporter, Tony, I don't remember his last name, and I can't pronounce it, and the producers that I preferred to keep the conversation centered on the book. After this occurred several times, Jordan, for whom I share both a personal and professional relationship, stepped in to reiterate that the point to help refocus the discussion, she was not deflecting any specific question or topic, but simply doing her job to ensure the interview stayed on track. Some of the clips make it appear as if, though, we are avoiding the question of how we met, but we have been open about that fact that Jordan and I met on a plane or on a flight to Palm Beach in 2021. The final 8-minute segment does not reflect the productive 35-minute conversation we had, which covered a wide array of topics related to my career. Instead, it presents selectively edited clips and stills from just a few minutes of the interview to suggest a false narrative that Jordan was attempting to control the conversation, which was simply not true.
Okay. That's the latest from Bill Belichick.
Back on the flight. Okay.
So that story, that has been a story. That's what that's
the main story floated of how they met. Yes.
What do you guys think? Because for me, I actually, so that is the same story they've gone with. So I know it's not as juicy and fun as social media thinking that they met at some, massage parlor or something. Okay. That was a rumor that was out there.
Yeah, I saw that.
I actually believe that they may have met on a flight.
Or her parents' small business or something. Whatever. Is that the other one?
Sex shop or whatever. I think, though, the fact that, of course, she's trying to control the conversation. Of course, that's what he's saying. She wasn't trying to do that. Clearly, she's trying to control everything around him at this point in time. As far as how they met, ultimately, it doesn't deep down matter, right? It just doesn't. It's just weird how they've gone about doing media coverage and having the media interact with them. And normally, Bill Belichick, you're right, would never have put out. He's talking more to the media in the last week than he had in 15 years in New England.
You have to at college. This is such the stupid. This is why so many people went out of the game.
You're right.
In college, it's all I'm never retiring. I'll live till I'm 100. I'll put my brain in a cyborg. You'll tell them anything to keep recruits from questioning what's going on. So if there is even a half a thought that a recruit might think that Jordan is pulling the strings on Bill Belichick behind, he has to bury it, because what happens is Dabo Swinney gets in a room with a recruit and he's like, old Uncle Bill being controlled by Jordan? That's who you want to go play for? Don't do that. Come play at Clemson. They use it all, Drew. It's all a big weapon in college.
Well, it's not only that you're talking to the kids, you're also talking to boosters. When you do the media tours of, you're not even presenting anything you're doing. It's just, hey, this is what we're doing for the program. This is why you should invest money in North Carolina football. You got to answer all those questions. You got to talk to a lot of different people. This is the thing, though, that I have about it. If your story is consistent in where you met, when Bill was asked, just say the airplane. Just say the airplane, and it gets the question out of the way, and you don't have to be asked it ever again. All he has to say when he's asked, how did you guys meet? We met on a plane going to Palm Beach. That's it. It takes 2 seconds, and you're done.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense that she would defer that question if it's true and consistent. Why would you not?
Because he only wanted to talk football. He also clearly wanted to avoid the Robert Kraft stuff. He's like, I just want to talk about stuff that's in the book. But it's a notable exclusion that your football book about football does not include one of the central most figures in your entire football life. I'm sorry that's not in the book, but that we have to talk about the fact that it's not in it.
Is Spygate in it at all?
No chance. Well, I don't know, actually.
This whole thing is just so weird. It's just, it's honest. It's just all very, very weird. I'm like, their situation, the way that like somehow this has become such a big story. The whole thing is just bizarre. Because deep down, actually, it really doesn't freaking matter. But it's just so weird the way they've gone about it and how more and more involved.
Great coach, so we become more fascinated.
Yeah.
If this was happening to Rex Ryan, we wouldn't know. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know.
Rex Ryan had his own fair share of weird stories, videos.
But I wouldn't.
Feet.
But I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know that he was dating a 25-year-old who also handled the publicity for his book.
Well, I was going to say, I think that also is part of it. Is there was nobody from the publisher of the book. There was nobody from the company. There's nobody from the university. There's nobody there.
Why did he agree to even do the interview?
His girlfriend.
I mean, like that's the thing. It's like, what did you even agree to do the interview for?
Yeah, what did you expect they were? You knew that. You knew they would try to ask a question about it. I mean, it's about the book technically. Why is there no Robert Kraft in the book? I mean, that technically is a book question, I suppose. You could bend the rules a little bit.
It's not it, but that's the thing. Bill Belichick wants it to be in the book. Like, no offense, man. He's not going to talk to you about like the time. Like, he making it sound like it's a beautiful mind. Like he was walking around just imagining coverage. Like they're not going to. It's a TV interview.
Yeah.
I get hung up on the same thing, which is he is over 70 years old. He does not have to do any of this.
From the 913.
What is his net worth?
From the 913. He should have said we're on to Cincinnati. When he was asked that
we're on to
question.
NBC. You know, when asked, he should have just said
we're on to the next interviewer.
We're on to PBS. We're going to the next thing. What's his net worth? What's he worth? $100 million?
Who?
Bill Belichick? Maybe that's too much. $50 million? What do you think he's worth?
I have no idea. I'd guess $60 million.
Let's see. 70 million is what this says.
Okay.
Tough, you know? Got to really promote that book. You could have just written a memoir that wasn't massively published. You don't have to just quit. I don't understand. Like, we've talked about this before, and we talked about this at the end of like NFL careers, where at least you're young, and I think it's kind of a harder decision. If somebody wants to give me $70 million, I'll quit all this right now. You'll never hear my voice ever again. I'll leave. I'll disappear. You won't see me. I'll delete all my social media. I'll never do a single radio hit. I won't so much as sing in the shower. Whatever things you want me to, I'll quit. For $70 million right now, I'm out.
Right.
Like, we make it seem like I'll quit it all. I've dedicated a huge chunk of my life to becoming a professional radio host. I'll quit it all. Hang it all up.
That's so brave of
I'll
you.
just
Over
watch
70 million.
birds.
That's so brave.
I'll figure something out, you know?
For 70 mil. Yeah.
Complaining about having to do a TV interview. This was optional, Bill. Now, I'm assuming Smith & Schuster did force him to do some media stuff for publishing his book.
What's the point of the book, too? Because if he didn't want to write, I would think, if it's about...
Talk about how good he is at football. Bragging about how good at football he is. I'm great at football. Here's my book. That's it. Right?
Yeah, but he's good enough. You don't need to explain it to anybody. I mean, if he has like some fun story, like stories I encountered over my 25 plus year, whatever it is of coaching.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I think that'd be interesting. But if he's gonna, back in when we had the undefeated run, I sat in my office with Randy Moss and Tom Brady, and we just talked about X's and like we understand. Like there's not.
But how's that a
TV?
TV? Yeah, but what? Yeah, give me the best story. I guess we can talk about that. But like. The most interesting stuff is that you have a horrible relationship with Robert Kraft. That's the most interesting stuff. Because the interview's like, he said he fired you, and he's like, it was mutual. He's like, I'm just saying he used the word fire.
I just wonder what the book is about. Like, if the book is about, if it's tales from his time in coaching, then yeah, there's questions asked there. But if it, like, what's the purpose of the book? Because if he excludes Kraft and he excludes Spygate and all these other things, then it's not a memoir. It's not a memoir.
Bonus random question. Now that you're asking this.
Oh boy.
What is what book did you hate? 913-586-7965. Even in high school. I don't care. Like the one that you're like, so to this day,
I don't even know, man.
I have tried 4 different books by this author because people swear by it. Genuinely awful reading, and I hate it. If you like Hemingway, I don't get it. Stinks. He's terrible. I don't want to read Old Man in the Sea. I don't want to read any of them.
I mean, stuff we had to read
Get
in school.
all at Ernest Hemingway's
Hamlet
work.
was terrible. But
you didn't like Hamlet. Okay.
Any of the play stuff was too
dense.
Yeah, it was also your you're reading it in a way that you've never really read something else before. It's tough to.
A Farewell to Arms is one of the worst books I've ever read.
Is that by Hemingway as well?
Yes. All of them. I read 4 because somebody's always like, I read 1 and I said it was terrible. And they're like, no, you're just not. You read it and try again. That was always the take. Try that author again. And I tried multiple books. I read that one, For Whom the Bell Tolls, all of his hits. I essentially just listened to his greatest hits album, but in book form. They stink. Someone said Grapes of Wrath. I remember having to read that. I remember more watching the movie, the black and white. Did you watch the Grapes of Wrath movie?
I don't think we. I'm trying to remember. I know obviously Lord of the Flies is one that comes to mind.
I like the Lord of the Flies. You didn't like that one?
Lord of the Flies. I'm trying to go through all the ones.
Someone just texted Canterbury Tales. Didn't like that one by Chaucer.
Great Expectations.
I liked Lord of the Flies. I thought it was really good. Great Expectations. I always had a weird book of that. It was the teacher who taught me, who like we had to read that book, was like Advanced Comp English. And she talked about that book and she loved it and I thought it was okay. But she was also encouraging us as like sophomores in high school to go watch Eyes Wide Shut. And I want to remind people what
Nicole Kidman.
You telling sophomores in high school to go check out Eyes Wide Shut? I do nothing. So I could, for whatever reason, that book immediately makes me think of that.
Charles Dickens, yep. That's Great Expectations.
Pride and Prejudice people are mentioning. A lot of people saying they didn't understand the hype with William Shakespeare, you know? Didn't work.
Someone said, I've never heard of this version of this book, Tequila Mockingbird.
Tequila Mockingbird.
You didn't like To Kill a Mockingbird?
That's a classic.
That's
classic.
wild.
That's just a classic.
That's
that
even
is a
hotter
classic.
take than me saying Hemingway's one of the most famous authors ever.
Yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird. It's just funny. Autocorrect typed in Tequila Mockingbird.
That's a totally different book.
Some said AOL for Dummies. It was a tough read back in the day.
Did you ever have a For Dummies book from the library?
I don't know if I did. No.
My parents had one, and I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, what was the topic?
I don't remember what it was.
How to Break 100 at Augusta for Dummies.
From the 816,
No?
The Giver.
Hit your ball straight.
Yeah,
one
of those.
Don't avoid the hazards.
From the 816, The Giver was a messed up book. The Giver is one of my all-time favorite books. It's meant for you. It's YA. It is one of the best books ever written, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's not bleak, though. It is. Have you read The Giver?
Cody's wife is a librarian,
It's
by the way. So
bleak.
this is
It's
now
bleak.
we're going deep.
Yeah.
This is where this is coming from now.
Yeah. But I really love that book.
Yeah. Animal Farm. You didn't like Animal Farm?
Did you not read The Giver?
No.
That's like a classic youth book. Yeah, man. I felt like everyone had to read that one.
We had the. God, I don't remember.
We had to do like everybody, right? Scarlet Letter, Kill a Mockingbird,
Yeah, was good. I like that
Fahrenheit,
Fahrenheit 451.
451.
I love
like those are all.
Bradbury.
I think everybody. I feel
I
like
love
did those.
Vonnegut, so no one's going to talk me. No, that stuff. Those were all.
The Giver was one. There was another one too. I picked the other book. We got a choice of two of one of each, and it was The Giver or some other one, and I did not pick The Giver.
Yeah,
probably because I had more pages.
You
which
guys
is
should
why I
both read The
didn't.
Giver. New reading assignment. It's
How many pages?
great.
Hold on.
It's a short book. It's a YA book essentially. It's not very long. It's maybe 200 pages. You could read it in an evening. Not that quick. But
In an evening.
yeah,
240 pages. I read slower than most. 240 pages is like a week for me. Like a good week of wrapping my head around the storyline of this.
I mean, this says individuals are assigned roles in lives are devoid of pain and suffering. I'll watch Severance where you don't remember what happens. I'll just do that instead. Thank you.
Watch it. See, the book.
It's a utopian society where one person is
Severance
taught
instead.
all of the history's mistakes.
Yeah.
Cody, it sounds like you'd back me up on this. The books are always better if you watch the movie and then you read the books are always better than the movies.
Always. Yes. But that's also like, there's more detail.
Yeah.
It's just more like that's just the way it works. I mean, I've told Alex about a book like 10 times. That's my one of my favorite books ever, and he won't read it, which is Devil in the White City. He won't read it. How often do you read, though?
That's the thing. It's not even about I won't read. I just
don't read
I
that
couldn't
much.
tell you the last time I just said, you know what? It's a Saturday afternoon, and I'm just going to sit on the couch and read a book. That's just not me. That's fine.
This is great.
That's
Yeah,
just fine.
yeah.
It's just not who I am. But I know plenty of people do that and
Someone
love
said
it.
the
I
For
get
Dummies
it.
book was How to Pick a Football Team for Dummies. That was my For Dummies book.
I like it. Just from the 6, I never really made it past green eggs and ham. That book was heat.
All right, let's talk some Chiefs football, please, shall
sure.
we? How about the first year expectation for Josh Simmons? Because all this is about the injury, we know. And we were discussing, is it a developmental year? Does it mean it's a developmental year if it's just due to injury? Because I actually don't think if Josh Simmons doesn't play in year one, that it's a developmental year necessarily. I would view it as kind of again, maybe we're getting semantics, but redshirt due to injury, right? Almost a medical redshirt year is kind of how I would view it. I wouldn't say, they're trying to develop him as a left tackle behind the scenes.
No, but like if he's healthy, so some of this is an unknown, admittedly, Gold, right? You and I don't know what Josh Simmons' health will be by the time July 27th, August 1st, whatever the hell. The first day of camp is, they put those dates out, but I don't remember offhand now. But if they just sit him in favor of Jalen Moore and Jawan Taylor, and he is healthy, well, then it is a redshirt year. And offensive tackle, other than quarterback, well, no, other than running back, I don't know. There's not very many positions where I don't think anybody does development. As in, you just play. You're either just good right away or you're not good right away, and you just play. If you're good at center, you just play. If you're good at corner, it might take a few years. Not all the time. Sometimes you just play. Linebacker, a lot of times you work your way up. Safety, work your way up. Wide receiver even, right? We've seen guys like Tyreek Hill or Rashee Rice take leaps in year 2. At offensive tackle, it's not that you can't get better, but you play. You don't get better, in my opinion, at left tackle on the bench. So if you can't play for health, fine. But if he can't play, part of me thinks if he's not on the field, I'm going to be less confident going into 2026 if he's healthy and can't play, because I'm going to think you already don't think he's better than Jalen Moore, but now he's going to be the starter for you at left tackle. I don't want development years if he can play.
Yeah, generally I would agree with you. I just think this is a much different circumstance with Josh Simmons because of the injury. I think they can say he's going to be healthy all offseason and good to go for training camp, and I'll believe that when I see it. But also, I think you're still talking about a guy that's coming off a serious knee injury. By the time spring training camp begins, it'll still be less than a year since that injury. So that is a huge part of it. If it was, just look at another team's first-round pick. Like if
they had taken Connerly and said, we're not going to start him this year,
correct.
We're developing him, well, then you shouldn't have taken him in the first round. Developmental tackles are not supposed to be in the first round. That's part of the point.
But this is a little bit different because of the injury. If, in fact, now the Chiefs would tell you as of last week that, no, he's going to be fine. I hope so.
But you're still not buying that, right? And I'm not fully buying that yet either.
I'm very, very skeptical.
Well, I guess here's the follow-up to that. What percentage chance do we think we put at him being a starting tackle? I'll just leave it so that you can...
Week 1?
If you want to put it at 1% for Taylor or whatever, too.
Yeah, for week 1?
Week 1, starting tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, left or right? What percent chance do you think Josh Simmons?
Less than 10%.
I think it should be like 40%. I think it's actually probably like 10 to 12. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's 10 to 15. I don't think it's a great chance, and I guess that's where part of my concern is. If he's healthy week 1, practice all of camp, doesn't start, is your confidence, not rattled, but is your confidence less going into 2026?
I think the answer would be...
Today?
No, because I think the answer would be due to injury again. While, yes, he was good to practice, he's still behind the 8 ball because he wasn't able to do as much.
Yeah, he couldn't practice or do as much, or they couldn't see him as much. They'll always have that crutch.
Sure,
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But people come back from it, it's left tackle. He's played the position. And I understand not
we
playing
went
it for
through the
you,
numbers last
but
week.
To me, what you're talking about, learn the system, it's not like learning wide receiver. It's not like learning corner. There's not this whole play, I just think there's less to learn, consume.
Oh, again, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he wouldn't because he needs to learn. This is all based on the injury.
Yeah.
I mean, we just went through the numbers last week about the history of patellar tendon injuries and how difficult it is for players to come back from that, let alone offensive linemen. So that's why I still think it would not shock me. My prediction still is that he's going to eventually end up on the PUP list, but we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. Because if I'm wrong, then I think he does have a chance. Jawan Taylor's playing right tackle week 1. I know we disagree on this.
You're
but
99. I also think we don't disagree on the fact he's playing right tackle in game 1.
Okay.
We disagree that I think he should have any chance of beating out Jawan Taylor.
Because, we went through it last week about the financial element of it. Now, could he get benched later on the season? Sure. But Jawan Taylor, $28 million, whatever it is, cap hit. If he's healthy, he's playing right tackle week 1.
I like same argument. You take him at 31 and he's healthy the entire time you say he's healthy, he should have a chance to beat out anybody because the money's spent. It's always and this is how, and I think teams don't always think about it that way in your defense. Yeah. And I think that that's oftentimes a mistake, and sometimes they hang on to players longer than they should as a result of this, we've already spent the money. Because the problem is not even sometimes at the levels of Andy or Veach. Sometimes it's higher up. You got to tell the boss, hey, remember all that money I spent on Omar and Fonte? I'd like to flush that down the toilet now because it ain't working. And you're like, I don't even think this guy's got a chance to be better.
Sure, but
and
see,
like,
this
with
is where
Juwan, I don't think that necessarily they'll look at it that way.
Well, the difference is, I know you're just giving one random example. Like Omar Infante was one of the worst players in baseball at the moment. Juwan Taylor is
a serviceable player.
Is an average right tackle that's making big money, and that's why they're going to move on from that. But like,
that's why he's
not the
harder to
worst.
get benched.
He's not the worst tackle in football. So it's a different. You would agree with that?
Yeah.
Like that's the difference here.
It's not apples to apples. It's the matter of like. It'd be like in baseball if you had a league average starter at second base, but your superstar was coming up. Do you and your league average starter still got a lot of money left on his contract? Do you flush that money in order to get the superstar in? A lot of times you don't. But I don't think that they're going to I don't think they're ever putting Simmons at guard in order to get him in the field. This goes back to the development thing. Tackle is just, and this is a unique circumstance from the beginning, so maybe that's just the thing I have to admit. You do not often take a starting left tackle at the end of the first round, certainly one coming off such a serious injury. So it's probably going to feel weird than the normal system of operations anyway. It is rare to have a developmental player at left or right tackle that you take in the first round. Not in the third or the fourth or the fifth round, but in the first round, that's an uncommon place to say, we'll work and make him better. And I know that they're not looking at it that way because all accounts, the scouting report says the guy can play. And the question is just whether or not he's healthy. So I will question one of two things. If he doesn't play right away, is he not as good as Moore or Taylor? Because I think if he's better than Taylor, he should start. Doesn't mean the Chiefs will, but I do think that should be the case. Or is he not really healthy and you're just telling us that? Problem is Juwan Taylor gets like 3 false starts in a game, dude. And for the first time ever, you're going to have people calling for the backup left tackle to come in. Or right tackle. I've never heard that before, but Juwan Taylor has a game where he gets a holding penalty and 2 false starts in week 4 and they lose. People are going to be calling for Josh Simmons all of a sudden.
Coming up next, we'll get to what's trending, and we took a deeper dive into the numbers that Cags is putting up in Double-A. And if you're seeing those numbers and you're thinking, why is he not here? We'll put some things in perspective with some other top prospects in baseball next.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30.
We need to nip this in the bud. We need to nip
what in the bud? On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5, The Fan.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. But what if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you could sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9393 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
To save you money. Enjoy half off appetizers and half off your bar tab. 7 days a week at Jefferson's Lenexa and Jefferson's North Kansas City. Yeah, you heard that right. Half off your bar tab during happy hour at both locations. And it gets even better. Mondays are all day happy hour. Plus, they've got reverse happy hour every night. Whether you're catching the game or just kicking back with family and friends, Jefferson's in Lenexa and North Kansas City is the place to be. Proudly local and always delicious. Jefferson's. Wings, burgers, oysters.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that, and often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find that your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make the change for good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexspyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Spies KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, a.k.a. only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at shaneco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
It's Clean Car Month. Right now, get the Pro X1 Car Care Collection Wash Kit for just $19.99, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's trending on Cody and Gold is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Well, tonight we're going to find out about a new Royals pitcher. That's the making his debut. Noah Cameron makes his MLB debut tonight against the Rays. A little after 6 o'clock. Vern's on Deck show is at 5 o'clock. We'll talk more Royals baseball right after What's Trending, including some numbers with Cags in Double-A and compare it with some of the other prospects in Royals history.
Next up on What's Trending, Eli Manning is looking into minority ownership of the New York Giants, trying to put together a team to buy part of a share of this as these teams continue to go up in value. You actually kind of sell parts off that way, I think, for 2 reasons. One, some of the OG owners can't keep up with the Joneses in a lot of ways. It's easier for the Teppers of the world to pay whatever the hell they need to in order to get the stuff they need in these franchises. I think some of these like Clark Hunt owners, or Mara family owners, they'll sell off pieces of these franchises because they're worth so much damn money at this point anyway. Cash infusion for the team, but interesting that Eli would actually get to do it with the New York Giants. I think a lot of times we see this with like just any team you can get an ownership group for.
Yeah.
Like A-Rod didn't buy a piece of the Yankees. He bought a piece of the Timberwolves, right? It's not always the same league or even the same team. So just interesting to see. That's all.
Thinking of the Timberwolves, they're in action tonight. Minnesota's up 3-1 on the LA Lakers. A chance to wrap that series up. It is Game 5. Also, earlier in the evening will be the Warriors and Rockets. Golden State can wrap it up. 3-1 lead over the Rockets. Of course, last night we saw the Denver Nuggets take a 3-2 lead on the Clippers. We saw Boston wrap up their series against the Magic. We saw the Pistons force a Game 6. And we also saw the Pacers come back from pretty large deficit late to wrap up the series against the Milwaukee Bucks. And now all questions and eyes turn to Giannis and whether or not he actually stays in Milwaukee.
I mean, that's going to be the biggest story of the NBA offseason, is whether or not they can convince him to stay. Probably not an easy task at this point. We know how it works in the NBA. When you're a star as big as Giannis, you like to have a chance to actually win an NBA title. We'll see whether or not they do that. Next up on What's Trending, more fifth-year options getting picked up throughout the league. Not that it's a huge deal, obviously, across the board as we go to it. Probably the most notable one, Kyle Hamilton, who got his fifth-year option picked up by the Baltimore Ravens. We also saw that Drake London got his fifth-year option picked up by the Atlanta Falcons. There was some question about whether or not they pick his up because he's been a good player, but not like the world's biggest player. There'll be a lot more of those. And the Jaguars are picking up linebacker Devin Lloyd's fifth-year option Devin Lloyd's fifth-year option. Part of that is because the shift in the CBA has him lumped in with linebackers and edge players. He just get paid too much. They like him as a player. He'd get paid more like a top 5 linebacker and edge player rather than just a rookie on a fifth-year deal.
Lastly on What's Trending, our Cody and Gold road trip presented by The Art of Sports is this Saturday in Springfield. Going to go watch Cags play.
It's going to be awesome.
The Northwest Arkansas Naturals taking on the Cardinals AA affiliate, the Springfield Cardinals. We have tickets still available, 965thefan.com. You go on there, $10 ticket deal. Over 200 listeners have already signed up to join us in Springfield. If you pre-ordered and ordered, I should say, your T-shirt, you can join us at Harbell's beginning at 3:30 to pick up those. Anybody can stop by Harbell's, but that's where you'll pick up your T-shirts if you already ordered those. Pre-orders, of course, wrapped up over a week ago. We will have a few extras for those that did not order in advance,
not
but
a ton.
Very few extras.
I'll be
that's
honest,
why we have the pre-orders.
When we started the short shirt order, we were not exactly sure how many people were going to be on this trip. Happy to announce that it's probably like 210 or something, but over 200 people going down to watch Cags. We'll make sure that any of you who want a shirt that we've got the extras for will have them, but for those of you who ordered, Harbell's, 3:30 to 5. I need to get online. I haven't started looking for like the spot after.
Yeah.
Anybody familiar with Springfield? We're looking for a spot after the game, 913-586-7965. We're staying right near that same area near the stadium, so maybe a place near there, but I'm open. Hit me up with your favorite spots in Springfield, I guess. If for some reason, I don't know, your kid goes to school there, you went to school there, you just visited there for work a lot, I don't care. 913-586-7965.
Somebody did text
7965.
in when we were talking about me visiting the campus or whatever and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently somebody said I believe their child goes there.
Okay.
It's move out weekend.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In Springfield. So it could be
good luck going on campus.
Bump in time. Yeah,
Move out weekend.
Campus is probably not going to happen, but
I know there's cool rooftop lounge. It looks like nearby the stadium.
I do like a good rooftop, rooftop.
Depending on the weather.
The final weekend in Springfield, I don't know, it might be buzzing a little bit before school's out.
I like hanging out with those.
Well, I'm not saying it's
Drew,
a bad thing.
You should stay. You're driving back, Randy. You should stay.
That's still being offered. I went ahead and ordered the room with 2 queen beds. So
we've got a couple hotel rooms.
Depending on when the game gets done. I have to be back. We have plans Sunday morning. So now plans on Sunday morning.
You're squatting Sunday morning?
Are you golfing?
Which one?
Did you say squatting?
Yeah. Are you doing squats?
Oh.
That's fine.
Are you golfing?
I'm sorry, that was well, golf is part
What did you think I meant, Drew?
Like the house squatting. For whatever reason, that came up.
He was waiting for me to leave town, and he was going to try to legally squat in my house and take over residency.
That's
Someone
right.
says, I live in
That's
Springfield.
right.
What vibe are we wanting? Just kind of chill vibe after the game. If listeners want to go by, just a normal bar, but if it's a cool spot, nothing too crazy.
Depending on what time the game gets done, I can hang around for a drink probably.
Someone
Place
says
that
Hotel
doesn't-
Van de Voort Rooftop Badass might be a little bougie for a baseball road trip. I mean, I love a rooftop bar, but I don't know if that's what everybody's going to want to do.
Some place that wouldn't mind my usual level of volume. That's the vibe level. Like, if like
Cody wants
I
a
would be
karaoke bar
disrupting-
so he can sing.
If I would be disrupting service because of how loud I am, I would prefer not to. Because we'll be with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I can mind my volume if I'm at a nice restaurant by
I don't know
myself.
I don't know how many people are planning on staying in Springfield after the
either.
game or not, but there's over 200 of you coming, so I'm assuming there'll be a decent group.
This person 816. My best friend lives in Springfield. We can just chill at his house. He doesn't know it yet, but it's probably fine. We'll just do a house party in Springfield.
No, thank you.
That was a quick rebuttal.
No, thank
God,
you.
he
Absolutely
I
not.
want to go to a.
What's against the house party?
Go to a bar because I'm not in college anymore. That's why. No, there's
Anti-house
plenty,
party,
there's
got
plenty
it.
of good bars. I'm sure we can find
Okay.
down there.
This Hotel Van de Voort just sounds bougie, doesn't it?
Well, we looked
Hotel
at it.
Van de
Yeah, we
Voort.
looked at it.
Ooh la
It's,
la.
it's more expensive where we're staying.
Mhm.
Are you staying? By the way, Cody and I booked stuff separate. Are you staying? This is live on the air. Are you staying at the same hotel that Dusty
I am
and I
staying at the yes.
Okay,
I believe so.
Okay.
I looked at some other hotels. I
Okay.
considered some Airbnb options.
Okay. For one night, you're going to do an Airbnb.
Well, I'll just tell you, for the one night, we could have gotten a pretty badass place for less than we're paying for the hotel.
For the 816, Dublin's
So there was
Pass
Which
one
one? Dublin's Pass.
Pass?
There was a temptation to do it, but I ended up just booking the hotel near the stadium.
If you want to hoot and holler, according
Cody
to
was
the
asking for
816.
strip club recommendations. I said, "What are you talking about in Springfield?" I said, "What are you talking about, Cody? Come on now."
That's where you want to make it up. That's where you want to make it up at is Springfield, Missouri.
We went to Vegas 4 times or something last year. I would have just done it there. Like, are you kidding? I mean, if we're gonna it might as well be there.
Karaoke bar called Friends. It's a good time and pretty loud. Someone says.
Okay, let's go do some karaoke. Will you sing a song?
I would have to be pretty drunk.
Come on,
No.
let's get lit, and you can sing something easy like "Friends in Low Places." Everyone sings it along with you.
I'll sing Tequila.
Tequila, fine. Whatever, that's fine.
Tequila.
Whatever the lowest possible threshold.
All you guys should
Tequila.
collectively do "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift. That's a good little karaoke song. You guys can
Shake It Off? I've never done that with
Body
karaoke.
going up on stage and saying "Shake It Off."
I've only done karaoke
Yeah.
like 3 times in my entire life, believe it or not. I've done more karaoke on this show at this point than I have in real life.
Yeah, someone wants to know if Cody or I are paying for the tab on Saturday. That's a negative on that one. Everybody's on their own on this one. We appreciate you guys, but
But a
everybody's-
$1,000 bar tab like a month ago.
Yeah.
You could have come to that. I'll buy one person a drink.
Yeah,
How
the
about
first person that comes up to me at the bar, I will buy you a drink.
that? Could it be a double? You know? Since
Sure. A drink, max value. I'm gonna feel like I'm reading a disclaimer for FanDuel. Drink must be fewer than purchase must be priced lower than $20 and must be 21 or older. Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. What is this top text? John Elway did
that
what?
must be from the previous.
Is there an
conversation.
update? Did it turn even worse?
Yeah, 45 minutes
Oh
ago.
my goodness.
So if you missed the
really?
story, John
Yeah.
Elway,
Holy
his
cow.
longtime agent and friend, Jeff Spurbeck,
Jeez.
was in a golf cart that John Elway was driving.
Okay.
As of less than an hour ago, Jeff Spurbeck has died at 62
Jeez,
years
so he
old
fell
after a
off-
horrific golf cart accident.
So he fell off the golf cart.
Dang.
I don't know what happened. Just said the former quarterback's longtime agent and close friend fell off the back of a golf cart, which was driven by Elway on Saturday evening. He was rushed to a trauma unit and placed on life support, but doctors had indicated that there was no hope he would make a recovery after suffering a severe brain injury. He succumbed to his injuries at 1:10 a.m. local time Wednesday, 4 days after the accident occurred. So they were apparently traveling on the golf cart with their wives after attending an after party at the Stagecoach Music Festival in California. And then, reportedly being driven by John Elway.
The
Longtime friends.
Riverside County Sheriff's Office said, though, no indication that Elway was driving negligently when he
just
fell
fell
off.
God, that's awful. That's really
Saw
awful.
the top text. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was a lot harsher than that. But yeah, that's tough.
Jeez.
That's tough. That's really sad. Thoughts
Look,
to their
there's
family.
Yeah. No way, obviously, to transition away from
No.
obviously, terrible news. We were going to talk a little bit about where some numbers are at in AA right now for CAGs and look at some history of Royals prospects and it's not so much to say, oh, it's still a big question mark. It's more to say, just because somebody's performing in AA doesn't mean they could just come up immediately and perform in the big league level. Now, Kaggs is a number one prospect. He's a top 50 prospect in all of baseball. So it's not the same as every single player we're about to mention. But you were talking to David Lesky a little bit about some history among prospects, including MJ Melendez and others.
So I had already pulled the numbers on MJ Melendez, and we were looking at his numbers. So here's MJ Melendez, Nick Prado. I'm just going to give you the names now up front. MJ Melendez, Nick Prado, Vinny Pasquantino, Bobby Wood Jr., and Kaggs. So we'd agree that is one superstar, one everyday big leaguer, one guy who was an everyday big leaguer for a few years, but people are quite down on and did not make the impact in the big leagues people thought, and one bust in Nick Prado to this point, unless something's dramatically going to change in his career somewhere in this stretch. So you want to talk about the rainbow. You can get anywhere from superstar to doesn't matter in the big leagues at all based on these AA numbers. He has right around the same career average as all those guys. He has a worse on-base percentage than every single one of them right now at the AA level. These are their aggregate total AA numbers. He has a worse slugging percentage than all four of those other names I just mentioned, in MJ Prado, Vinny, and Bobby. He walks second most. He strikes out about in the middle of the pack. Two guys had struck out more, two guys had struck out less. It's right around the middle. Vinny was way better in the strikeout numbers. He only struck out 11% of the time. Everyone else on this was 22% or higher. And he swings and misses more than everyone else except Nick Prado. So, like, when you start putting this into factor, he is no better at on-base and average. He's actually worse in those. He's worse at slugging, so he's not hitting for the same amount of power. He's striking out at the higher end of this rate and swinging and missing at the higher end of the rate of all the guys I just mentioned. When we say things like Jack Caglione needs more time, these are the numbers the Royals organization, I can borderline guarantee you, are looking at when they are making those decisions. They've seen a lot of guys have the level of success Kaggs is having in AA, and they've gotten some of them to the big leagues faster, some slower. Vinny didn't get here super fast. Prado and MJ didn't get there super fast. It's a guessing game still, is what I'm telling you. He's a super prospect. He's going to get to the bigs at some point.
Yeah, and it might even be
anytime in the next few months.
And it might be this year, right? I mean, he could be in AAA in the next month. Who knows? But again, it's not so much to say that he's not going to have success by any means. It's more that if you are, frankly, texting in and saying he's hitting blank, he would just come up and rake immediately. That's not usually how it works. Now, not all these guys were college players.
Only one, Vinny was. Prado, MJ, and Bobby were all high school.
One was college players, and only one other guy was the top prospect, and that was, of course, Bobby Wood Jr. Yeah. So if you're going to say, hey, well, the other top prospect did hit right away, Bobby went to AAA.
Yeah, they were all, by the way, top 100 prospects in Major League Baseball rankings, and all top 10 prospects in the Royal system, and at least half of them were the top hitting prospect. Nick Prado and MJ, or Nick Prado, I think, before MJ. At least half of those, or 2/3 of them, were the top hitting prospect in the Royals organization. Remember, there was a stretch when every top prospect in the thing was Singer and Bubic and every other pitcher that they had drafted during that run.
Yeah, Daniel Lynch was up there.
That's why they weren't the top prospect. They were the top hitting prospect inside the organization. Not a huge distinguishment, but a difference for sure. But some of those guys, they were all top 100 guys. These are guys in the same range. This isn't even meant to make you depressed about Kaggs. We're excited to go see him on Saturday in Springfield. This is just to tell you that patience is okay here, because the Royals know that if you put up these numbers in AA, it is making no promises. And as of right now, he needs to improve his slugging percentage, his on-base percentage, and his swing and miss percentage. He needs to be better in those categories so that they can feel confident when they put him in AAA, he's only a stone throws away from getting to the bigs. They're just trying to make sure these things are right. And personally, I thought that there were times there's been players they've rushed to the big leagues that, like Adalberto Mondesi is probably the most glaring example. But in retrospect, would one additional year at MJ Melendez, would it have hurt? Would spending more time would it have helped?
I mean, look, I don't think because someone
Vinny was the best AA player out of all of them, apparently.
I also don't know. It's probably not fair to say, though, just because somebody got called up, quote unquote, early, that would have changed their entire trajectory. We don't. I mean, if MJ Melendez had another year in AA or AAA, I don't think we'd be having a different conversation
Probably
about
not.
it. I mean, unfortunately, he's just. Although I think he had a nice day yesterday, but that situation just kind of is what it is at this point. You're gonna have to wait and see over the next month plus 2 months if he can get on track or not. But I think at this point, you can't count on him being part of any sort of plan at this point. Now he's in that spot now where it's like, hey, if he figures it out, great. But there's no way you're counting on him.
Look, the optimist point of view is his numbers are not that far off from Vinny and Bobby. They're off, but like Bobby whiff rate was 30.4%. Cags is 31. Bobby struck out 24% of the time in Double-A. Cags strikes out 24% of the time. So Cags actually walks more. So I'll say his numbers are actually the closest player on this list in the Double-A level from just like a borderline match are actually Bobby's. Bobby hit for more consistent powers and more doubles, more triples, better slug. But like Bobby's actually the closest.
I just want to see him continue to become more of an all-around hitter. We all know the power's there for Cags. I hope we see a home run on Saturday night.
He hasn't hit one in a little while. I'm excited.
I haven't seen a home run in a bit, but in a weird way, like actually, the team would like him just to be hitting doubles and singles for right this second. They know
JJ straight up said that.
The power they know is there. Like they know he can get a hold of a baseball and hit it a very long way. That's not even a question. It wasn't a question when he got drafted. It wasn't a question in college. Is he going to just only be a power hitter, or is he going to be an all-around hitter? And that's where hopefully the development leads to that. And if that's the case, then we're talking about an absolute star, obviously.
Are you excited about Noah Cameron tonight?
Yeah,
Another top prospect. I mean, he's one of the 5 biggest names in the Royals. I'd have to look up their.
He's number 5, I believe. Yeah, I think he's a number 5 prospect. I think that's right. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited because anytime someone's making their MLB debut, that's pitcher is even different than someone making their. So they've had guys make debuts this year. That with all due respect, they're Tyler Tolberts and some other guys that are
happy for him.
For him, but he's not going to be one day a huge part of their lineup. Let's just be real. He's not, right? He's not. That's just not the role. Whereas Noah Cameron could be part of this rotation for the future. There's a chance. Now, if he pitches great tonight, I agree with you that he's probably still getting sent down to AAA again immediately, unless they think Cole Reagan's going to miss more time.
Just real quick, and then I'll talk Noah Cameron. Someone on the text line said Bobby was a high schooler. Cags is old. Bobby was 21 when I gave those stats. Cags is 22. So I don't want too big of a deal to be made about their age differences. Every other player I listed on there was 22 years old in Double-A. So same age, same time frame of when they were in Double-A. 22 is actually young to be in Double-A. That's actually 2 full years below the average age of a Double-A player. So outside of that, Noah Cameron, I'm very excited. He is the 5th ranked prospect in the Royals organization. He's a lefty. Bubic is probably the best comp. That's why they're going to say it, because he doesn't light up the radar screen. As
Vern said he thinks it's Bubic.
And he's a tall left-handed pitcher. So people are immediately going to think of that when they see Noah Cameron. What I'm excited about is this year at some point, because I know it'll happen in every year, but this year at some point, more than one start's going to get missed by, not necessarily Cole Reagans, but by somebody. And at this year at some point, they're going to run into an innings thing with Chris Bubic. And I was always a little more reticent on, well, Kyle Wright will solve those problems, or here comes Alec Marsh. Alec Marsh had a really nice year. They're both coming off major injuries. They're both just in the rehab part of the process. I don't want to bank on those being the names. But if Noah Cameron comes up, pitches really well, continues to pitch really well in AAA, they got a lot of starting pitching options. Options on options, which is interesting for 2 reasons. 1, if there's anybody who misses starts, okay, you got it. 2, if they need to trade for an outfield bat in the middle of the season,
expendable.
All of a sudden, maybe there are some names that are available for you to move. And if you got a lot of pitching depth of guys you like, including Alec Marsh and Noah Cameron and Michael Lorenzen, who is pitching really well for the Royals, maybe you got the movement and the ammunition to make the kind of move you got to make eventually. I already got a name in mind. I don't want to get to you. I already got a name in mind.
A name in mind to trade for?
Yeah. Already starting kicking those around.
In the outfield?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can get to it Friday. We only have a 1-hour show tomorrow, so it feels like a waste.
That is true. What's the weather in Tampa tomorrow?
Can we just spend an hour getting a tracking update? Making sure that, have you gotten a shipping notification?
Yeah.
Is it in KC?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
just
good.
want to make sure you're square.
We're good. But I still think there's a chance that I won't be here Friday.
You're still putting that out there.
I think there's a chance I won't be here Friday. I'll be on the road trip Saturday. Don't worry. It might just be you two Friday. I got to talk to the boss after the show.
All right.
He doesn't know yet.
Still?
No.
You got to tell him at some point.
Because it's not, I'll talk to him after the show.
You've just been avoiding him all day.
Well, during the show, I don't go and talk to the boss during the show.
If I got something small, maybe.
Yeah, after the show, I'll meet with him briefly.
I think, you know what else he doesn't know about? That he wants to give $200 to, drinks in Springfield, right? Didn't he say that?
No.
Didn't you overhear that, Drew? I think everyone who wants to go on the trip did hear that. I thought he maybe promised it. Almost
Spec
even
loves
swore.
himself some Cags, so, I mean, maybe